All right.
Yeah, we got some documents over there. Just like starts rubbing oil on his arms. Oh, this is just moisturizer.
I swear I'm not recording this, actually. Just,
Oh, yeah, just don't mind me. I just, gotta oil up these arms, prep for the big
Dramatic
session.
fan in the background.
Hair just flowing in the wind. Just flick the hair. Okay, but anyway. Welcome to Season of War, where I am the main advertisement for this game, and if you don't like me, well, you're not going to enjoy the session. By the way, I will link my OnlyFans down. I'll link my OnlyFans down in the description.
Very clever.
I am sponsored by me, myself, and I.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, smash that like button, hit the bell icon, enable notifications. New video every single week. Alright, but anyway, who wants to recap the last session?
I mean, Zaliel can try poorly if y'all want him to.
I mean, if you were there, why not? I remember you're there for the first part, but I'm not sure when you ducked out.
I tried.
Hopefully at the very end, unless I fell asleep. To be honest, my work schedule's been crazy recently, so Zaliel will try and correct him on every part that he's wrong. Zaliel returned and was like, I'm not just a dead body.
Found out he was dead.
Yep.
Surprise! Thank you for faking my death. I had a plan if you didn't, and if I died, oh well. But he would probably then have revealed to the group he's had some personal issues coming in to affect the group. And then while the group was getting their reward and faking his death, Zaliel met with Captain Rain and Raphael subsequently, and basically had a little bit of a heart-to-heart, which was weird for him. Then after that, just kind of glossing over that, I'm pretty sure Secret had a meeting, unless I'm mistaking it. What's Secret next then? He had a meeting with, I keep blanking on
Cass.
his name.
Cassidy.
Cass, I was going to say Surfer Dude.
Dude.
And
Dude.
they had and he was Secret was trying to like kind of feel out what was going on, how much had happened since we left, and as well as kind of the different involvements of the shard and how much Cass would ascertain. And then who else? I know there's something else that happened between that and the chicken catch. What happened? What happened between that and the kitchen?
Recap.
Chicken.
Maybe I should recap.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying.
Okay. So, I only have a partial recap on the actual video, but I'll go through it. So, session starts with Zaliel goes. We catch Zaliel. Zaliel goes off to meet Rain. Basically asks her to assist the party whenever possible. Zaliel gives words of commendations to Rain and Raphael, who bumps into him afterwards. He basically tells Raphael to assist him whenever possible, and Raphael says, well, your safety is my priority, not theirs. Not their safety. They talk about... Raphael teaches Zaliel how to use his Mark of Zenova, and after some discussion, he asks what Zaliel was going to do now that he's basically free and he's a wanted man. Well, he's supposed to be dead in this city-state, and he decides he's going to return home to Acheron with Raphael to reunite with a woman that he left behind there. So Raphael tells him, Okay. You have 1 week left in Veer. We will be leaving after the Tournament of Steele. Say all your goodbyes and get ready. Zaliel leaves, bumps into Monica, who shows very visible concern for Zaliel, which is very unusual for her. She, after verifying what Zaliel is going to do and that he's basically going to be fine and he knows what he's going to do for himself, she decides to teach Zaliel how to use his other mark, his mark of Visage, to shapeshift his appearance temporarily, as well as use it for another thing that he has not shown yet. And afterwards, he teaches Monica Healing Word. Stefan, I forget which one of the 2 Stefan events happened first. I'm just going to assume that the Elwyn one happened first. So Stefan reports in.
I believe so.
Stefan reports into Elwyn first, and she sounds surprised and also displeased that Stefan taught Monica how to use Magic Stone, an offensive spell, but she quickly relents, saying that I should have let you know. Oh wait, reporting to Elwyn happened after Runescar, but yeah.
Yeah, Runescar. We're just gonna skip over.
That actually came first, I guess, because I talked
I
to
was
her
trying to do a
afterwards.
favor.
Yeah, because we taught you the
And I
spell
did get something
for
from
that.
her about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, it was the other way around.
But we'll go on with that. So Elwyn cautions Stefan that Monica should never be taught a healing spell. She seemed very hesitant to give the reason why, just saying that it's likely going to unlock some very unpleasant memories for Monica, basically. Stefan asks for help. Elwyn decides to give him an option of selecting various spells, and decides to give him Compel Basic Attack, a spell that belongs to those loyal to Nile, the god of domination and basically the mind. And she also wishes Stefan luck for the Tournament of Steele as well. Before that, Stefan went to go meet with Runescar, Pyre's grandfather, and
I was actually going to try to trade off something.
Yep, you were going to trade
He
a
wasn't
Pearl Power.
interested.
Yep, Pearl Power or your land deeds, but he wasn't interested in either. Instead, he wanted a service in return for it. He ultimately promises the Wand of the Packkeeper +2 in return for essentially mentally breaking a young man by the name of Winston Berg, who, in a previous session, was blinded by Johnny Gust, the character that's Zorg's personal NPC, essentially. So...
And after some back and forth, we come to an agreement.
Yep. He does, just to remind you, this is not a hit. He does not want you murdering, and preferably does not want you to physically harm the man. But it's not an ironclad rule.
Yeah.
Yep. And
I won't hurt him at all. Well, maybe a little bit if he fails the saving throw.
Yep. And his intention is not complete and total anarchy.
Well, you never know what could happen.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see
when
if he is pleased with the result.
With a wild spell.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. The effects of whatever Stefan has cooking.
Oof.
And that's
I've
definitely
got a few things in mind.
Yep, he was given a ring of invisibility, which is basically one use. He doesn't need to concentrate for invisibility, puts it on his finger, but the second he casts a spell, invisibility gone. And he was also given a guard's uniform to blend in if he wants to infiltrate the town hall / adventurers guild. And it definitely does not coincide with the exact same day that Secret is going to be meeting with the House of Steele to negotiate getting that lightning shard. It's definitely not going to coincide the same day. Why would you think that I would ever plot something so sinister?
Well, luckily, I will have backup ready. If he goes crazy, I'm just taking the damn thing. He'll be crazy anyway. Who's he gonna tell?
Well, this is Winston Berg. You're taking it from the House of Steele. Brandon Steele is going to be involved, but...
Yeah, no, listen, small little details.
Secret, if you're gonna do some crazy, let Zaliel in. Come on.
Well, we're trying not to go crazy.
Eventually, we'll just convince them we're all dead, just one by one. It's like leaving the check in the restaurant.
Shit, he went.
What's that?
I'll even cast Gentle Repose on myself, so I can't like decompose.
They're definitely not going to want to use scrying. This is definitely not going to be such a big upheaval that someone doesn't want to use scrying to track down the party.
Nah, that won't be weird at all.
Okay. But anyway, enough about what might happen in the future and Secret's visions of what might happen in the future. Secret basically calls Cass out to the Golden Cat brothel where they get a private room, courtesy of the Plague Doctor. And basically ask for Cass's support in the future, hoping to essentially weaponize Cass's incredible luck to his advantage.
And make it mine.
Yeah. and if not that, you can at least learn various reversal of fortune effects through Cass.
Again, making his abilities mine. It's a good relationship. He gets nothing, and I get everything.
I mean, he gets to chillax. That's what he wants.
I'm basically the best boss he will ever fucking have, and he wants to keep that. I don't think he wants anybody else being his boss, that's for sure.
Yep.
It's 3 days, right, till the meeting at the town.
Something like that. 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Something like that. What's going to happen is Winston and Brandon are both going to find notes on their desk, and nobody's been around. Not at home, at their offices. And Winston's is going to warn him, somebody is going to try to harm you and humiliate you and your family. Be aware. Beware. Brandon's note is going to say, somebody's jealous of you. They're going to try to harm you or your family. Beware.
Jesus. Why are you making this hard for me?
Be there. Oh, there is a signature on it. The signature says, your friend, the Phantom.
Okay, if you said Secret Dream, I actually would kill you. But, alright, the Phantom works. I'm sure we can find this mysterious Phantom. Who I'm sure will suddenly not exist after this day after he gets his payment.
Now, if I get a healing spell cast on me before that, it may be Zaliel by these two guys.
Monica, where did you learn that? Mission abort. I have a different job. Zaliel! He literally just fucking takes off his disguise in the middle of a goddamn meeting, just walks out. Secret's just like, what the fuck was that about? Anyways, about that stone.
Anyway, that happens the first day.
I'm so excited. There's so much chaos in the party. I love it. All right.
Oh, ow! Don't mind me. I might have accidentally just hurt myself in real life. Don't just ignore that. I'm not an idiot. What are you talking about?
You took
I know
psychic
what
damage
you're
in
talking
real
about.
life.
If by psychic damage you mean a water bottle fell on my foot cap first, then yes,
Yes.
I'm okay.
Bludgeoning. I'm sorry. Okay, psychic bludgeoning. It's close.
There's
Yeah,
no such thing as
telekinesis is
psychic-
close enough.
That's force.
Yeah, look, you're using psychic to drop something on someone. I think it counts psychic enough, okay? Look, if Pokemon has taught me anything, telekinesis is a psychic move, okay?
Pokemon also taught you there's a creature that can sit in the water and heal somehow.
He's gonna hate. I don't know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyway, back to the
Pokemon
recap.
is perfect. Now we're in my childhood.
Oh, we're doing
Anyway.
recaps, no, never mind.
Back to the recap. Miss you guys too. These sessions are always chaos.
My bad.
So, Secret also discussed with Cass the plan to separate the shard, at least give one shard away to Zygon, and potentially the rest of them to Surkava, but also thinking about maybe distributing them across multiple gods to keep it very well separated. Cass did voice his opinion of, dude, why don't we just give it all to Surkava? Do you not trust him? But Secret stated that he believes that concentrating all this power on one god could lead to a war between all the other gods, and not only that, he doesn't exactly know what Surkava's going to do with it, if it's going to throw the whole balance of power out of whack. So he believes that this is the most prudent course of action. The two also plan to meet with Lucille later, and we'll get around to that eventually. After this, Ash is basically called out by the Plague Doctor to go to the outskirts near one of the forests. The party wakes up. They experience a little rooster hunt outside. Chicken hunt, both hens and roosters, outside, where two party members meet some NPCs, a female wind mage, and a minotaur. I think I deleted the wind mage. Nope, she's up here. Female wind mage, and a minotaur in a full suit of heavy armor.
Not the Minotaur.
The gist of what Ash spoke with the Plague Doctor is, Ash wanted to learn why the World War happened, didn't get an answer from the demon inside of him. But we learned that the Plague Doctor and Ash both were originally from Mermosa and present when it sunk, basically. When the Plague Doctor asked him of his, what Ash intends to do, why is he in Veer? And Ash basically said, well, I'm a drifter. I've basically been avoiding my problems and became an alcoholic. But he's decided
Good
to find he decided to find a new purpose, and he says that, well, what happened to me, the complete annihilation of my homeland, I don't want it to happen to anyone else, so I basically want to protect everyone in the world. So he's developing a messiah complex, essentially. The Plague Doctor tells him to shorten that scope down a little bit more, so he decides he wants to protect the people closest to him, and the Plague Doctor says, well, first you need to be capable of protecting yourself if you want to have any hope of protecting others. And so the Plague Doctor decides that he's going to spend the next 7 days, giving Ash very intense training. He's gonna work his butt off and make him self-sufficient. On top of that, the Plague Doctor teaches him essentially the god of poison and medicine's expertise in botany, at the very least. Not animals yet, but plants, so that he can brew various potions. He's in his current training arc right now, and the Plague Doctor gave him a pouch, like pretty much for intents and purposes, for this one golden rooster hunt, it's going to be bottomless. So he can experiment to his heart's content for this one session. But he's going to be able to brew various potions of various effects, as well as be able to make them while in combat.
You said he can use anything?
From that list, with the exception of the exceedingly rare ones. Obviously, when after the golden rooster hunt, the Plague Doctor is going to take that bag away, and he's going to have to actually spend gold procuring these herbs. But for right now, free.
Yeah,
So,
we're
we're gonna do
chasing
some grub
chickens,
guys?
and he's got a bottomless bag. I can see what the menu is for the next week. Chicken and eggs, chicken soup for lunch, chicken stew for supper, chicken fajitas,
And they're all going to look like they suffocated.
chicken sandwiches.
Fajitas.
Oh, I love choking my chicken, man.
At the very
Oh.
least, the Plague Doctor suggested that Ash join the golden chicken hunt. No one has successfully caught the chicken in the 10 years that this festival has been run, basically. But you guys can feel free to try to catch this chicken. You'll probably learn more about it as you get closer to the event.
Golden chicken chase.
Yep, the golden chicken
That
chase.
golden chicken.
Alright, anyway. Okay, so that is the gist of what happened last session, and because I keep forgetting to set the scene, because it's been a while since I've DM'd again, I'm going to reset up the scene that I should have given you when you were approaching Veer again. So, camera's back over at Ash as he's leaving the Plague Doctor's place. He's got his training task, which is to try to catch that golden chicken and win the contest. He is walking out of the forest, and we look over at the big walled city of Veer. And you can see Veer can be quite decadent in some places. Just from where Ash is, probably like half a mile out over by some of the forests, he can still see like this gigantic golden statue of Serkava. There's actually multiple golden statues, but there's this massive golden statue that's basically skyscraper sized. There are various other like statues as well that were commissioned by various noble houses that are scattered across the city-state. Not all the biggest one is Serkava as a man, but there are various statues like Serkava as a woman, Serkava as a tree, Serkava as an animal. Serkava's been a lot of things. And all of his incarnations probably has some golden statue or some concrete statue with golden leaf on it. Darted like everywhere around the city. We zoom the camera back into the festival as Ash re-enters the town. And the streets are just then the streets are, let's see. Murray's entering. Yeah, he would be in the commercial district. He would be entering from the south part of the city, I think. Or was it the north? I'm just gonna say the south part. He's gonna be entering in from the south part of the city, the commercial district, essentially. And you can see that the whole city is in the middle of the celebration of the Festival of Prosperity. There are big lines of, I forget what those things are called. Those little party flags, just set up all along various posts all along the streets. There are vendors. Selling gigantic portions of food, gigantic like meat haunches for half the price that you would normally get them. There's all sorts of odds and ends, little charms of Sirkava, little exotic goods from foreign lands like Umber Hulk teeth or army ant mandibles, plants from all over Veer. Like, you can see that the entirety of the world could basically be represented here in Veer. You see monsters of all races. You see humanoids of all the races. You see centaurs walking down the streets alongside Yuan Ti, alongside Loxodon, alongside Tabaxi. You see all sorts of people wearing their different tribal clothing or their different native clothing. Some mages that likely a lot of you would not have ever seen before. You wouldn't have never seen before.
That's cool.
You can see a what looks like a mage in full green heavy armor, walking around. Like, you can see a woolly mammoth. You can see a woolly mammoth who's got ice chunks like off of his clothing and armor, who's also carrying a big like chunk of ice on his back. Similar to the kenku that you see in the rundown shantytown portion in the northwest of the city. You see this what looks like a wizened old kenku monk just kind of walking through the streets. He opens his mouth sometimes and he seems to be intaking all the sounds and replaying all the sounds that he's hearing throughout Veer. And yes, that is an Asian straw hat.
For flair, if it's possible, if I see that kenku, if I could play a song that he could repeat, Zaliel so would, just for flair. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, you see this kenku. You see this kenku. He's walking down the street. He is replaying a lot of the things he hears. Like, he seems very intrigued by all the things he's hearing. You can see it's not gunpowder-based fireworks, but essentially something similar to like fire magic that essentially mimics fireworks being shot off in the sky, and you can hear him just making those loud explosion noises with his mouth. And when you notice that, you start playing him a song, and he stops in his tracks, and he starts repeating the song right at you. At which point, you could change the pitch, and you guys can start doing a duet.
Oh, I would love that. I definitely try and, like, all of a sudden, as he's mimicking me, I try and mimic him and see what happens.
Make a performance roll.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm excited. It's going to be a natural one, but I'm excited. I mean, what?
Fumble.
You know, when you build a role-play moment, you're hoping for the best. Let's see what happens. performance check.
Whichever. It's always fun.
Could be an unsightly 9. Neither interesting nor important nor passing. Simply there and a
Well-
failure. Unremarkably.
See if the new feed I got just helps just a little bit.
A little bit. It's better than a 9.
12. It's better than it's. I mean, it's worse than 9. It's a fucking 5. But I mean, a 12.
It's an all right performance. It's an all right performance. It was a very unique idea, but his noises are getting a little muddied by pretty much the crowds and the festivities behind him. You're thrown off a couple times when you hear fireworks just playing out of his mouth and various other things.
PTSD.
Yeah. Yeah, you're thrown off just a little bit, and any hesitation that you have in your music shows up when he replays it back at you. But it's, all things said and done, it's an alright performance. I mean, some of these street performers out here, some of them are amazing, but not all of them are incredible music players. You see
To be honest, that was incredible. He was able to match every pitch before I could. Sorry, I got scared, guys. Okay, let's keep going. Holy shit.
the female wind wizard / cleric that you've seen earlier, she puts her horn away and she pulls out a flute, and the sounds of the flute effectively wash away all the sounds of all the external sounds, like the blast of the fireworks in the distance and the sounds of the crowd. You can hear the sound of the flute clearly and cleanly as she starts flying her way through the town. You can see various archers who bear the mark of Lumen, the god of light, firing light arrows up into the sky, effectively trying to color those fireworks that are going off, as well as putting on a general light show for the public. Let's see, who else do we have? Oh yeah, speaking of music. An orc wearing tribal clothing is an orc in tribal clothing with a big group of other orcs start beating big war drums, timpanis, all sorts of percussion instruments, and that noise is actually a little bit deafening. Let's see, they probably wouldn't do it in the gambling section. I'd probably say that this is... we'll just say that they're right at home over in the brothel section, the pleasure district. As you can hear them pounding their drums over there, rhythmically. But it's not just a loud noise. You actually begin to feel healthier just listening to their deafening roars. You feel faster, more awake, more active. But over in some corners, you can definitely see that some people are keeping to themselves, in, I guess, also in the pleasure district, in some of the smoking halls. That's not an orc, that's a goblin. Excuse you. That's a little racist, Ash.
Oh.
But, yeah. A whole group of goblins and various other races are in some of the smoking halls, are in some of the, I guess, drug dens. The drug dens, using various drugs like various smoking drugs as well as various, I guess, ingested and injection drugs. Let's see. Now on the streets. Actually, do I have an updated image? I might have an updated image. I don't remember which one's the actual image. I'm gonna assume it's this one. I have an updated image. But out on the streets, you can see various town guardsmen as well as constructs that are just kind of generally watching the crowd. If any fights break out, you can see some of the patented House of Steel constructs just start breaking it up. If a fire starts breaking out, you can see some mages, especially that gigantic woolly mammoth Loxodon Ice Mage, arrive on scene and cast spells like Sleet Storm or Create Water and just put out the fires. It seems like security has all the chaotic energy of this festival relatively well contained. And we pan the camera back over to the party, very specifically Zorg. All right. Zorg, what are you currently, so we pan the camera over to Zorg, what is it that you're currently watching or doing or interacting with? What do we see?
Zorg is watching as the people come in, especially the giant man in armor.
Ah, yes. The giant mage in armor.
Yes.
As you watch that man in armor walk in, you hear, "Hey, watch out over there! There's something incoming!" And you see a large chunk of metal just start flying towards this man, and he just looks the projectile dead in the face. He points his staff to it, and its acceleration slows ever so slightly until it comes to a dead stop right in front of his staff. And then he just taps his staff onto the ground and it drops to the floor. And he continues walking along like nothing happened.
That guy we gotta watch out for.
Indeed. I definitely have a lot more NPCs, but we're just going to stick to this motley crew that we have right now. But yeah, you say that out loud, and you see you see a peculiar little scroll start spinning in circles like a helicopter blade, and you see it gently start flying towards you. What do you like to do?
Zorg will try to deflect it.
Okay. So it slowly starts flying down to you, and what do? Do you just slap it? Just kind
Yeah,
of.
Zorg's just gonna slap it away from him.
You slap it away. It flies about 10 feet. 10 feet. Which direction?
North.
It slaps 10 feet in front of you, and then it like a boomerang, it just kind of wheels itself back to you.
I will slap it again towards the south direction.
You intercept it. You move out of the way. You slap it again. It goes 20 feet. It wheels around again like a boomerang and comes right back to you.
Zorg would now slap it in the east direction.
Are you just going to keep slapping it in cardinal directions?
Yes.
Okay. After about 10 minutes of Zorg just rigorously slapping the scroll, you guys, anyone who was near Zorg and not
Oh, I thought
participating,
you said a squirrel.
a scroll, not a squirrel, a scroll, a piece of
I thought you
paper,
said a squirrel.
a piece of paper.
I was picturing this, the squirrel with a whirling tail flying.
Squirrel.
Bitch slap a squirrel all over the place. Well, that's not something you see in beer.
It's a
But,
squirrel.
He's having such a trouble against this squirrel. Should we go help him? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, with fates being changed around, maybe it's the one.
It's the squirrel that Secret did. Save him, quick!
Alright, well, is
Yeah.
the scroll shining or emitting any
It's
color?
a summon squirrel scroll.
I mean, it just looks like a normal piece of paper. Every time Zorg slaps it away, no matter what the direction, if he slaps it down to the ground, it just flies back up again and twirls right back to him. He keeps slapping it away. It doesn't look like there's anything special about it. It's just a scroll that just keeps swirling and levitating. You can feel a little bit of air pressure being given from this scroll, but that's it. Like, you can feel the wind.
How fast is the scroll going?
Pretty
Is it
slow, like
momentum with
a
them
couple
slapping
miles.
it around?
Zorg, I
If
do wonder
Monica
if
hasn't seen this
you-
yet, I'm going to tap her on the shoulder and point it out to her.
it seems Zorg. Stop! Oh, jeez, I'm trying to duck under each. Oh God, Zorg. By the way, the scroll seems to be dodging everything you're doing.
Zorg actually slaps Zaliel.
God.
Zorg actually slaps Zaliel onto the ground.
That's okay. Do it.
Okay, if you say just do it, then he doesn't need to make a roll if you're just gonna let him do it.
I will just let it happen and just be screaming from the ground. Stop, dude! Like,
Zorg looks down in confusion, like, when'd you get here?
you just hit me. I know. I wasn't most reliable recently, but you don't have to hit me. Ow.
Thought it was an ambush.
While
My
they're
warrior
doing the
instincts kicked in.
scroll, I want to see around and look where they are selling meat.
Okay. Okay.
Zorg attempts to grab the scroll finally.
Okay. We'll just quickly resolve Ash. There. As far as meat is concerned, you see that gigantic minotaur over there as well. And they seem to be selling like these massive haunches of meat. They don't seem to be from around here. They seem to have been probably refrigerated with ice magic and brought over here from Rodinia, the dinosaur city-state, basically. So these are some gigantic prehistoric meat, if you are interested in them.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm gonna eat me some Triceratops.
I forget what you ate during your eating contest. I feel like you ate some dinosaur back then as well.
I think it was like a pterodactyl or some shit.
A pterodactyl. I
I
forget.
mean, like, it looked like a pterodactyl. I don't know what you called it.
I've been pterodactyl. I don't remember. But yeah, this isn't the first time he's eaten dinosaur. You guys, like, you and the Minotaur essentially carry this gigantic chunk out. You need a little bit of help carrying it out, so he offers to help you. He offers to help, basically.
So we're talking about Flintstones intro and
Yes.
knock my car over. Hell yeah!
Essentially, yes. He helps you
Everybody
carry.
sees that and they're like, "Oh shit, it's the champion from last time."
Champion. Champion of what?
Bottomless pit. The bottomless pit.
Oh. the eating champion. I see. Well, then I think I'm interested. Would you be interested in seeing who can eat their meat haunch the fastest? And he's basically got a similar sized meat haunch as well. He's helping you carry one, and he's also simultaneously got the other. I don't think he's even carrying it. It's probably just levitating. It's probably just looks like it's floating off of his suit of armor, defying gravity.
Oh shit. Alright, well, fancy motherfucker. I'm down.
I mean, you can also see the weapons that he's got clinged onto his armor as well, that clearly are not strapped on or in any sheaths of any sort. All right.
What
Both
are
of
you
you
wanting to wager?
Well, it's a time of competitions, so why don't we just wager... Let's just wager something small. You want to say 10 gold pieces?
Yeah.
All right.
Wizard has to buy another haunch.
Okay,
At least I won't be hungry later.
so both of you... I guess... Let's just say both of you make constitution rolls. I think this guy, if I remember correctly... I need to drag his actual character token out, just to make sure it got his stats.
Said Constitution.
Yeah, make a constitution roll. It's probably shut down, isn't it? Okay. Constitution, and we'll say sleight of hand for how quickly you eat it as well. Constitution for not throwing up, and sleight of hand for speed. Not that fast. I mean, you've probably eaten some stuff the other day, and not only that, you've been going through the plague doctor's training, so you're definitely not in peak performance right now. Let me just make his constitution check. Ooh, he rolled extremely high. Oh yeah, he rolled really high. So he's not throwing up at least. But let's see how fast he is. I don't think he's got any specialties. Oh yeah. The Minotaur pulls off his iron helmet. And because the plague doctor's essentially been training the heck out of you. You may have drank a regeneration potion just to heal up from the rigorous exercise you've been through, but you're obviously not in peak condition. This Minotaur tears into this dinosaur haunch much faster than you're expecting. It kind of reminds you of you back when you were eating the dinosaurs back in the contest, but it's very obvious, like, this guy's eating a lot faster. He seems to be holding up a lot better than you. By the end of it, he's done. By the time you get halfway done, he's all the way down to the bone, basically.
Damn, so what I'm hearing is that I just lost 10 gold.
Yep, you just lost 10 gold, essentially.
And embarrassed myself calling out, like, oh, you're the champion. Oh, yeah, nice. I made myself look like...
He gives you a pat on the back and he says, "Well, like, do you vent any of these emotions out loud?"
Yeah, I guess so. I'm a whiny little bitch right now.
Yeah, he walks right up to you and says, "Oh, no. Look, from what I can tell, it seems like you're not that well right now. So tell you what, when you're feeling better, we can try it again." let's just say that today you weren't just, well, like, the Plague Doctor's training is very strenuous. After all, you can't make 2 bonus actions normally, so he's going through specialized training to make you even faster. He says,
Yeah.
these 10 gold pieces will be put towards our next competition, alright? Meet me, I don't know, after the Tournament of Steele?
I'm definitely down for a rematch.
Alright. See you then. And I'll leave remembering the rematch to you.
Alright, I wrote it down on my notebook. Handy
Alright.
dandy notebook.
We're gonna move the camera right back
I
over to
didn't
Zorg.
catch his name.
Oh yeah, he hasn't introduced himself yet. And
Alright, I didn't.
You could ask him.
On me, and that's fine. I'm gonna let him walk away. I'll remember that face and armor. It's a nice armor.
Oh yeah. You're probably not going to see very many fully armored minotaurs using magnetism to keep a gigantic dinosaur haunch up.
It's a magnetotar.
Yep, it is, essentially. Alright, but we pan the camera right back over to Zorg. You've grabbed the paper now. You unfurl it. You immediately recognize the handwriting. It's Johnny. Johnny's essentially asking you to go by the firing range. Actually, we're gonna do a flashback. Because I haven't confirmed anything yet. So, the Tournament of Steele registrations are up. Do you guys want to register in the Tournament of Steele as a team?
Yeah.
Good question.
That is a good question. Can we do both? Or no?
Yeah,
Last time it
both.
was
Wait,
either-
both for what?
Can we do a team battle and a solo?
No, it's just a team battle.
Oh, okay.
These are basically exhibition matches, essentially. It's called the Tournament of Steele, but it's exhibition matches because spell slots don't restore in a short rest, basically, and all the other features.
That makes sense.
I mean, we were planning on it, so why not? Does anyone have
That's kinda
objections?
how I feel.
Yeah, I think we started gathering these shards. I think we will see this through here in Veer.
Okay.
Okay, so this is where the important question comes in. What is the team name we're gonna go on the registry, right?
Yep. What's the team name? If you don't want to determine it now, we can wait until the actual tournament day, and we'll just retroactively say that, yeah, this was the team name that you decided on way back at the start of the week.
Well, speaking of team name, I think it may have been a joke before, but I mean, it's kind of fitting, isn't it? Monica's bitches. I mean, I don't know.
I'm down.
I mean,
Oh my God,
she
she's
is
so
pretty
honest.
awesome. You won't believe. Her and I were talking, and it's pretty great. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love
If she
it.
had bigger titties, I would definitely simp for her, but she's not gothic big titty, and like, I'm not gonna simp.
There are no titties that size that would make me put a bitch as my name.
Stefan, what's a bitch?
So,
True.
I think Pyre was admitting he was gay. But sorry, go ahead, continue.
Okay.
Monica's voice. What's up, bitch?
Yes. Stefan, what's a bitch?
The female dog.
Oh, so you're like my pets. I see.
No.
Monica's
Maybe Ash
pet.
is
It's
willing
a
to
little
be
more
your
PG.
pet. Maybe Ash and Zaliel are willing to be your pet, but
I
Zorg
stand
would be
next to
dope
her
with that.
wagging my tail.
I'm not going to do that, to be honest. Sorry, Ash, I'm not joining you, but I will say, secret. On that note,
Hmm.
if you have a suggestion, now would be a great time. But honestly, I mean, are we just destined by fate, or is there something more here?
Fate's
would be the-
Chosen is interesting,
The ragged.
but a little
Yes,
generic.
Chosen. It's generic, but fate's chosen. It's what came to you naturally. I don't know.
You all signed
Monica's
contracts.
chosen. I mean, sorry, yes, Monica. I mean, fate's chosen. Yes, fate's chosen rings.
We're the fuck you crew.
No.
I'm gonna have to go with secret over you, Ash. I'm sorry. I know it's very rare. I would normally side with you. You're definitely a homeboy, but secret's got like the ring. Fate's chosen, or the chosen ones, or Zaliel's chosen ones. I don't know. Something like that sounds wonderful.
No.
I don't
The
think about
almost
that.
heroes.
The semi-heroes.
I'm down for the
Semi-pros.
semis. Semis. Oh, semi-pros, semis. I'm down for any of those. Honestly, I think it's our best one yet. And my eyes turn a little black when I say that.
Semi-pros then?
I feel like Monica wouldn't say this. Monica wouldn't say that. But I suppose I can just say it out of character. You guys just have this as a thought. If you wanted to use the lightning shard, you might be able to get away with literally including lightning or something related to lightning in your name, like the lightning chasers. That is on the nose, and no one would probably bat an eye if you actually used lightning.
Or if we really want to break the fourth wall, we could call ourselves the Lightning Riders.
Lightning fate, lightning strikes. Ooh, I don't know.
Lightning
it's
strikes
tough.
twice.
Lightning strikes twice.
I mean, if we were all a group of tabaxis, Thundercats would have been awesome.
We could just go with something like
Thundercats.
strikes and use something else with it, not lightning, just a other type of descriptor. The strike.
The
I like
strike.
that idea.
What about simply strikers? Or
Would it be weird if it was fate strikes? Like, as if it, like, fate strikes us all? I don't know. Two on the nose. Two on the nose. I see it. I saw it from your face, Secret. Don't even.
How about the
I saw it
stricken?
from your face. I'll retract that comment. I know it was bad when I said it. Just like the ist comment. I know when I've said something wrong, okay?
Yeah, I know. We call ourselves the strikers, and
what about
sure as hell
Thunderstruck?
somebody's going to mistake it and go running bare-assed out there thinking it's the
I
streakers.
actually like Thunderstruck.
Stefan and Secret, don't tease me. Thunder Streakers, Thunderstruck. I am down for anything.
Strikers,
Thunderstruck
streakers,
sounds interesting.
the union of strikers.
No, come on. We don't want them to think we're bigger than we actually are.
The Union of Strikers, and then like the guy that we tried to rob comes back to fuck us over.
What the fuck? When did I get this? Oh my god. Okay, there we go.
What about the Time Walkers? Isn't fate is just another form of seeing potential timelines, and we walk between timelines with the choices we make. Therefore, Time Walkers. Or Fate Weavers, if you want to be really on the nose.
So I was booing from the background, just like boo. Playfully, though. Playfully. I understand where you're going with the secret. I like different directions. Thunderstruck, Fate Weavers. I think if there's any name for us at all, we can always change it in the future. Depends if we get famous or not.
You're dead.
I understand I'm dead. Okay, I got that. All right. And I'm sorry I haven't said formally thank you yet. I'll get there. You've shown me that there's a lot going on here.
Of course there
This
is.
could be even more on the nose. Tell me, this could be like the worst thing ever. Feel free to tell me. How about God's children? It's a little weird, I know.
That
Nope, yep, okay, never mind. I knew it was weird coming
That
out.
would be
I was
like
just
calling
gonna
us-
say, like Fate's children,
that
but
would be
never
like
mind.
calling me
Fun.
Destiny's Child.
I mean, do you know that name? Like, can you say my name? Like, say my name. Like, I'm just saying. I don't know.
I mean,
Destiny's Child
I'm a
has ring
survivor.
to it.
I'm not going to give up.
I believe that. I don't think any of us will give up because, aren't you Destiny? Aren't we all Destiny's Child?
Sure.
Yeah. We all have a dream.
So Destiny's Children it is.
No.
It isn't Destiny's Children or Fate's Children. Or...
Sorry, I got excited. My bad.
Death's embrace.
Death's embrace is a little too much.
It's a little too
Yeah, I'm
hard.
gonna have to say I don't embrace death. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. But at the same time, I do. It's weird.
Cannibal corpses.
No,
Okay.
that's you, not
yeah,
us.
that's definitely. I hate to agree with him, but yeah, that's definitely you, man. Like that's a
can
weird
always
thing we
call
haven't
ourselves
talked
La
about.
Familia.
Hmm.
And Stefan is scary as ever. What the hell? Okay, yes, never mind. Yes.
You like La
What
up?
Familia?
I mean, it's
I
like
interesting. What about the winds of change?
Yes. What do y'all
Okay,
think
too
about
much.
No, okay, sorry. I tried to be a little clever. I apologize, Secret. We'll figure out the
I
name
get
as
it.
we go. I guess I feel like we're not decided on it quite yet, but I feel like there's something that we all kind of think of when we think about us coming together.
Well, that's easy enough. I don't know if it
Somebody
applies to
said they thought
Stefan and
they sounded
Monica.
like mafia. La Familia is the family, and that's how the mafiosos refer to themselves.
We are
Hmm.
not family, Stefan.
Oh,
I know.
I don't know.
you're
We're
that
dysfunctional
family.
enough.
we are dysfunctional enough. I can tell you that, but
There's
Ooh.
the name, the Dysfunctionals.
Functionals. I. You know what? I almost can't argue with it.
I like that.
I like it too. To be
I
honest,
think it's
Holy
at least.
shit,
I
Stefan.
think it's at least a good enough name for the tournament. Dysfunctionals.
You know, instead of
Oh,
being
it's
the
memorable.
Magnificent Seven, it can be the Dysfunctional Seven.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
wonder how many
I-
guys will get with that name.
Listen. I like it. I'm willing to vote for it for the tournament at the very
Wait.
least.
I'm
So
okay
Lyle's
too.
in the tournament?
If
He might not
if
be.
it happens before August 8th, yes.
What's August 8th? There's no calendar. What's the?
Excuse me, Zaliel, you
Oh,
do not have
Zaliel.
fourth
Not
wall
a
breaking
character drum
powers.
line season starts. I mean, what?
Zaliel, your death. It's literally the Tournament of Steele.
Okay. No matter what, I'll try and make sure I have that day off. Tournament of Steele, Zaliel is in. No matter what, I'll make sure it happens. I promise.
Then in that case, the Dysfunctionals. I
It's
like
the
it.
only thing that's memorable, and it's the only thing that's true.
Yep.
Plus,
You will
Father would
prob-
hate it.
Ooh. Daddy issue?
Zaliel was gonna.
At least I have
talk-
one.
Zaliel was gonna talk to
Ooh.
Secret, but now he's talking to fire. He's talking
Ooh.
to fire here soon. It's happening.
Wah.
We'll see what your daddy thinks after he meets me. Wink.
Whoa.
Yeah, don't do
some-
that to him. I'd rather
That's
you
some
not.
confidence.
I just start crying like I never knew my daddy from finding Nemo.
What is family? It's a blessing and a curse. Anytime Ash asks that question, it's gonna be my immediate answer. It's a blessing and a curse.
No, Monica, you did answer that to Monica, yes.
All right.
All right.
Pyre will look to Stefan and then point at Secret. The Tabaxi's a he. He's not lying, is he?
I am. What's wrong?
Stefan? Stefan.
He says he's a he. I mean,
What do you want me
what
to
you
prove
want to
it?
do? Go check him out?
I'm asking your opinion, Stefan.
I'm the healer here. I think I know anatomy better than him. No offense,
I'm
Stefan.
sure you're well enough to hide anything. I've heard stories. Just come on, Stefan, your opinion.
About what he's a male or a female?
I just almost made a terrible
Nods.
real-life
It
joke.
doesn't make any difference, really.
It
Not to
does to
me.
me. Just answer. Oh, you don't even care. Oh my gosh.
What's
Monica
That
wrong?
explains a bit
Flips
about
through her
Monica.
notebook.
Okay.
Monica flips through her notebook and she says, well, I mean, based on proportions and height, it's very likely that he's male.
I mean, I'm right here, you know. You can talk about me as if I was here.
confirm? You don't even care. All
I
right,
am
fine.
a
I'll take you
man,
by
if
your
that's
word,
what you're-
Secret.
Are you
Secret.
scared for some reason?
A simple lesson.
Hmm.
If you have what you say to have between your legs, then the only way you'll get my father's attention in any positive form is to show him innovation. Something
Just-
that is worth a moment of his time.
Secret just raises an eyebrow and says, "You know that was a joke." Never mind.
You fail that, he will probably kill you. Or ignore you.
Probably
It
both.
was a joke. I'm not
Do
going to
not joke
dignify
with
that with
him.
a response.
Don't
gonna-
joke.
I don't joke with the gods, just their sons, who I thought would have senses of humor. I guess not.
Pyre looks taken back by this, like he just had a bucket of water thrown in his face.
Well, when you decide you want to have a sense of humor, let me know.
I suppose my social skills could use some work.
Among other things. Anyways, the Dysfunctionals. Put it
The
down.
Dysfunctionals. Yep. The Dysfunctionals. That is going to... If you win, then that will be a nice name to put on the Hall of Fame, right next to the previous group's name, which was Sir Kava's Folly.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm his folly. I'm just his dysfunctional son.
But I mean,
Yep.
is that kind of folly? Never mind. I don't mean to be redundant.
Don't worry, you guys will fit right in.
Slightly better. Slightly better than the old group.
Only by a little bit.
Oh, the bar was so low.
That's just good for us. Low bar means it's easier for us.
We'll see. You have Ash
kills
with you,
us
who
all.
is a champion
Ash eats
of
us all
the...
in our sleep.
Ash is a champion of a former Tournament of Steele, so maybe that's going to affect what happens to you guys when you enter.
Oh, fuck.
Nah, if he was a champion, I'd know about it. Right? Right? I've only been here a week.
Jesus,
Technically, no.
you said it every session. Come on. No, I'm just kidding.
It has been referenced. It has been referenced multiple times publicly by NPCs. So
They're probably all
likely know.
women when they said it, or they're probably people I don't care about.
I forgot that little tidbit about Pyre. I totally forgot.
Sheltered, arrogant, sexist.
Mhm.
Character development and roleplay, people.
Out of character, I can't wait for Pyre to be served up on a plate multiple times. The whole
like to
you're an
get-
idiot.
I'd like to
Hey.
get a belt of gender change.
That is a little too far, but if you want to put it on yourself, you can mess with Pyre.
I'm gonna start looking for some flowers.
I'd like to get 7 belts of gender change.
I am putting these all on the cat DM. What happens when we stack gender change belt?
I become everything. The new god of the Pantheon.
He becomes every gender that's ever existed, all at once.
I am the embodiment of 2023.
God damn it.
New special ability unlocked. Apache helicopter identification. That's its new gender.
You're gonna get me canceled on these YouTube videos.
It's not like we're being monetized.
How dare these people
Yeah.
say stuff on the internet in this deep
On the
dark
internet.
corner of YouTube? How
The
dare.
corner that like what 4 people watch? We're about to blow this
Whoa, whoa,
channel
whoa.
up
At least
for the wrong
16,
reasons.
Okay.
I
Possible
know
that-
one person who has actively watched it voluntarily.
Volunteer.
Are you saying the other people were like put in a chair and have their eyes taped open? Like,
I mean, how else are you
Well,
gonna get
like-
people to watch this train
I
wreck?
was gonna say secret.
I've definitely watched it just for references, but it's like doing your homework for the game. But like this guy, like I was like, hey, like here's a sample of what I've been doing, and like day later, he's like, I'm on session 4. I'm like, you skipped? He's like, no, I like it.
should have asked him why.
That's your homework, listeners. Explain why in the comments below.
Like and
Yes,
subscribe.
we're specifically referring to you. By the way, don't forget to click on that OnlyFans link.
OnlyFans.
I'm waiting for it, Jorah. You post it,
www.onlyfans/Jorah.
I subscribe. Okay. Yes, Jorah. Subscribe.
Every Friday, there's a 10% discount for joining for the month.
How else are we gonna pay for my new laptop?
Yes, we're going to have to pay Zaliel. That's not cheap, you know. Look at what I'm doing.
Zaliel, why are we paying Zaliel?
So that he doesn't
gotta
so
stay
that
in
he
the
doesn't leave the
campaign,
campaign. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, I see. There's a lot of royalties I forgot about here.
Don't worry, you guys will
Yeah,
get your
unless you
paychecks
change the housing
eventually.
market, go ahead. I'll take either paying me or changing the housing market. Go ahead. either
Hold on,
or.
I think I'm getting a phone call. Matt Mercer, how are you doing today? Us on Critical Role? Really? You mean it? Wow, gee. All right, sorry. So yeah, Dysfunctionals.
The Dysfunctionals. We are definitely dysfunctional, yes.
Oh,
Jorah, I need you to leave and rejoin real quick.
Okay.
rejoin real quick. What do you think of that? Okay, now everybody's just.
If everyone leaves the call, does that mean it stops
You
recording?
know what?
Oh,
Here's low.
There we go. Okay, just making sure.
Ba-ba-lu-lu-lu-la. How's it sound?
Very good. Nice.
It sounds like
Cool.
baloo. I don't know if you meant to say that or not, but
It was like it had a little pop to it.
Good, 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 good. Everything is in order then. Alright, swiftly back, so you guys sign your names in as the Dysfunctionals for the Tournament of Steele. Zooming the camera right back to Zorg. You grabbed the scroll. You grab the scroll, it's Johnny's handwriting, and he basically says, "Alright. I heard you and your posse have decided to join the Tournament of Steele. Well, I can teach you a few tricks if you come down by the shooting range. And I know you prefer shields and axes, but I think you could learn a thing or two."
I don't think I've ever been to the shooting range.
Is this
He-
Zorg only, or were we able to like peek at that letter over his shoulder?
It's currently Zorg only. He can choose to tell anyone. And Zorg, you do remember that Nathaniel Veer, specifically, when Pyre asked Nathaniel Veer who to look out for, one of the names that was mentioned was Johnny Gust. That Johnny. So you know Pyre would probably, if he wanted to meet influential people, Pyre would probably be interested.
Do I know where the shooting range is?
I think he would have said something like it's basically like it's close to the Coliseum for the Tournament of Steele, basically.
Zorg will tell the group that he is going to the tavern to get a drink. If anybody wants to come with him, they can.
Well, you almost just took my head off while I was trying to tell you to stop swinging at the scroll. So, I mean, yeah, sure, as long as you don't kill me.
And
So I will
decide to
join.
join in as well.
All right. I'm assuming that the other three, well, Stefan, if you're not back right now, then I'll ask you later. But I'll assume that Pyre and Secret are uninterested and have their own things they want to do.
I know what happens when you drink with Zorg.
All right. Ash and Zaliel with Zorg. All right.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back, Stefan. So Zorg said that he's gonna go to the tavern. Ash and Zaliel are joining. Secret and Pyre haven't said anything, so they're probably not going to join. What about you, Stefan?
I'll see if Monica wants to go. Get her to go over, get a drink with the guys.
I mean, I don't like alcohol, but
Well,
but
I'm sure
it's
he gets
always
something
interesting.
without alcohol.
Yes, it's always interesting seeing. It's always interesting
You never
seeing
know
what
what's going to
happens.
happen in a bar. There's
Yeah.
a lot of interesting people you see in those places.
All right. So you two are going to join. All right, Zorg, are you actually headed to the tavern or are you not?
Where's the closest tavern to the shooting range?
Closest tavern to the shooting range. I mean, technically, you could just go into like the Colosseum's like food court area and get drinks from there if you want. But if you want like a proper a proper traditional D&D tavern, it is going to be probably about 5 blocks away.
Okay, Zorg will start walking towards the tavern.
Okay. And there's not anything else you want to do, then you guys will just arrive at the tavern.
Zorg will order a drink at the bar and tell everybody that he has to go meet an old friend.
Well, Zorg, who is this old friend? I mean, did they send you the scroll thingy? I'm not the best with alcohol, to be honest.
Well, my old friend Johnny Gust sent me a letter telling me to meet up with him at a
Johnny.
location.
Johnny. Why does that name seem familiar? Is he a good guy or a bad guy?
Little bit of in between.
Do you need me there? I mean, I can accompany you. I can try and ascertain which way he is, more good and more bad, if you need me to.
No, I do not think I'll be needing any help.
I probably wouldn't say this, but after this one beer, probably, so I would say, can I spy on you? Is that weird?
Zorg will say Zorg does not like people spying upon him.
Okay. Yeah. Nope. Never mind. I'm not a big scary guy. I put my hand on his shoulder like I did in the first session, and just gonna say in a very calming voice, I am here if you need me. Don't forget that. Anytime you do need me, I am here. And that's what I'll say.
Zorg will look him in the eyes and say, I understand.
good luck, you big bastard.
Zorg will walk out the tavern and start walking towards the shooting range.
I'm slapping his ass on the way out, just like, good luck.
Zorg will reactively grab his hand.
Never mind. Good luck.
All right. So all by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You walk out to the shooting range. You see a variety. I did update his picture. You see a variety of mages from different city-states over there. Light mages from light archers from Soluna. Various, like, you can also see artillery equipment, curiously enough, nearby. You can see an orc team working a ballista, trying to load it and fire it as quickly as possible. As well as various goblins, hobgoblins, and bugbears dashing, like, they know it's dangerous, but they seem to be like dashing into where everyone's shooting their arrows towards the target and trying to weave past the arrows. It seems like they're very used to hit and run tactics as well as dodging. You do see that smoking goblin there as well, essentially doing that.
Can I identify what he is smoking?
What is he smoking? I need to double check to see if it is on Heradell. So Heradell... Nope, that's not that. So he's probably just straight up smoking... he's probably smoking... In fact, make a nature roll for me. Let's see if you are familiar with the drugs.
Nature roll.
Do you do drugs yourself, Zorg?
Zorg hasn't partaken.
Nat 1.
Oh, yes.
He on that tranquil leaf, ain't he?
You can't really tell. You've probably had a puff here and there. I mean, so Zorg does not basically do drugs. Is that what we're interpreting that role as?
I guess so.
Okay. So Zorg does not smoke. He does not do any of the harder drugs besides just drinking a little bit of alcohol, and he also doesn't like smoke tobacco or do anything like that. So it just smells like smoke to you. You can't really place, like, you're not knowledgeable about plants to really know which of the many smokable plants it is. Either way, it smells unpleasant to you.
Zorg will sniff the air and say this reminds him of olden times.
This reminds me of olden times. What? They do a lot of smoking back there in Zucani?
Sometimes. There's a lot of battle. A lot of people training for war.
I see. So it's a good pre-battle smoke, just like how some of these goblins like to get high on mushrooms before battle?
I did not know goblins did that, but...
Depends. You never know with some of these Heradell goblins.
They all die the same. One blow to the chest.
Well, maybe you've only seen weak goblins. You'd be surprised at how evasive goblins like that are. Or how tough some of the goblins of Rivenera are.
Some goblins are quick, some goblins are tough.
Indeed. Zorg, buddy, old pal. You miss home?
Sometimes. Think about what could have been.
I see. hate the gods? Or just Zygon?
I don't hate Zygon. He deserves vengeance for what he has done.
I see.
An eye for an eye.
Let's see. This question would be... So I take it you were pretty close to the people back at home? You want to put their souls at rest?
I always have.
So it's not out of any greater... So, you just seek vengeance as an eye for an eye. Not out of any greater purpose. Just because you see it as your own brand of justice, right?
Correct.
So why are you here then? Of all the places, why Veer? Do you think you'll find your strength here?
I think I'll find my enemy here.
Zygon? Here in Veer? I mean, you know where he lives, right? Up there in Zakir.
Yeah, I got some good info.
No. Do you really think you can take on a god by yourself?
You know, there's always a chance.
Always a chance, huh? Well, like he does let out a laugh. He doesn't think like you can see that he doesn't really think that you can do it. Says, do you have the help of any other? Do you have the backing of any other god, or are you just winging it by yourself?
I have some support, but I have a very powerful item.
Powerful item, like what?
A god shard.
The god, what's it now?
A god shard.
And he just kind of like he looks at you very puzzled. He doesn't quite understand what you're referring to. A god shard. You sure you weren't just conned out as some? You sure you weren't just conned by someone in Veer? They sell a lot of crazy things out on the streets, and most of it counterfeit or fake.
I'm certain. 100% certain.
Well, if you say so. You want to show that power off?
Can't, Johnny. It's severe consequences.
Well, if you can't show off your power, well, I don't understand what this God Shard is, or how powerful it actually is, but if you don't want to show me your power, I can at least show you my power. Remember that scroll? The scroll that kept flying around back towards you?
Yeah, I kept knocking it aside.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was the one manipulating it, controlling it from pretty far away. Pretty sure you didn't notice the whole time. I was wondering when you were going to grab it. You're definitely the most persistent orc I've ever seen.
Yeah, you should have known that already, Johnny.
Yeah. Kinda. Yeah. I guess people would call me insane. Doing the same thing and expecting a different result, eventually. And he turns to the shooting range. He turns to the shooting range and he turns to the shooting range and he pulls out his bow. And he says, let's see. He pulls out his bow and he says, actually, he probably would hand you the bow first and have you take a shot first. He's gonna hand you the bow, and he says, "Do you think you're a good shot with bows?"
Johnny, you know that's always been your specialty.
I know. But I've been wondering, but... Okay. I know, but just humor me. Take a shot.
Alright, Johnny, I'll take a shot.
Alright. Basically make a dexterity check and then add 2 to the final result, because I believe you are no wait. Are you proficient with ranged weapons? I forget if barbarians are.
No, simple weapons.
Simple weapons? It probably would be a short bow that is a simple weapon, so yeah.
So roll dex and then add 2.
Yep.
17.
17. Okay. 17. All right. So you're aiming out in the field. I mean, you see that hobgoblin weaving in and out, like he's actively trying to get in front of the arrow and then dodge out. Are you going to try to aim for that guy, or are you just going to try to aim for just a target out in the field and hit a bullseye?
I'll aim for a bullseye.
Okay. So you notch your arrow. You take a little bit of time. It's been a while since you've actually shot a bow before, but the muscle memory kicks back in after a little while, and you fire the shot. It's off the mark by a little bit, but it's relatively close to the bullseye. Probably a ring out. Yeah.
Not too bad, huh, Johnny?
Yeah, not too bad. Let's see. What do you want to do? Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Do you try to hand the bow to him?
I will try to hand the bow to Johnny.
He puts his hand up. He says, "No, keep it. I don't need a bow for what I'm about to do." I don't think you can see his arm. No, you can't see his hands on that picture. You can't see his hands on that picture, but he rolls down. He's wearing something that's covering his hand. It's not exactly... I guess he would be wearing a gauntlet. He takes off his gauntlet, and he shows you the mark of Gale, the mark of the god of air. Oh, there we go. The mark of the god of air. And he says, "This god mark is just a fraction of the power of an actual god. Gods, they can do incredible things. Things that people like you and me, we can't even comprehend. And with just a sliver of his power, I can do this." And he activates his god mark. It starts glowing, and you can feel a strong gust of wind begin billowing behind him. And a strong gust of wind, and let's see. I'm trying to think of what a fitting projectile that wouldn't get him arrested would be.
A potato.
A massive potato. A massive potato just flies out of the sky. Let's see, I guess there would be boulders. There are artillery here, so there's probably some trebuchets as well as giant boulders. the wind begins roaring behind him. And shortly afterwards, you just hear a and you just see this massive boulder just like he's looking at you the entire time, and you see this massive boulder just flying behind him. Just flying behind him. It passes your peripheral vision, and you see it fly towards the shooting range. Right at the target that you shot, and then it stops right on top of the target. You can feel the strong gust of wind as it flies over, and it stops just before the target. You can feel a strong current of wind still around there, and the boulder visibly rotating in a circle. And everyone's just looking at the boulder dumbfounded.
Dang, Johnny. Have you always been able to do that?
Yeah, I've always had the mark of Gale. Johnny Gust is a family line. I'm the fourth. My father fought in the Divine Crusade, and I'm sure you can guess which side he was on. And he shows you the mark again, the mark of Gale. Gale is an exiled god, by the way.
So he was against the gods.
Against
Well, the current
gods that won.
pantheon.
Against the current
Yeah.
pantheon, yes.
Pantheon. And Nile is still a god in the current pantheon, right?
Yes.
Was Nile a god before the Divine Crusade?
All of them are. All of them were gods that have existed since the beginning of time, basically. Well,
I
guess not exactly, but before the world was created, all of them existed.
I would like to show Johnny my mark. The mark of Nile.
All right. And do you actually share the power of Nile? Can you compel me to do things?
It's not all powerful.
Really? From what I hear, the most powerful war clerics of Nile, let's see, they are capable of long domination, literally casting spells like Dominate Monster, and various other charm spells like that. A cleric of Nile, a high-level cleric of Nile, he could command me to do the exact same thing I just did right over there. And there isn't a thing I could do to stop it.
I've never learned much about my mark. It's been passed down from my father's line. It
I
only
suppose-
appears every few generations.
Oh, really? Then I suppose we're similar. Though, in my family line, it's passed down through every single family member. The Gust line has always been champions of Gale. So I guess I might be the one exception now.
You're no champion of Gale?
No. My father still is. He's over there in the other continent right now, Forsaken Wastes. Me? I'm free to do whatever. Until he kicks it and Gale decides he wants to find me. But I don't know. We'll see when the time comes. I'm not really much for responsibility.
You gonna fight in the next war?
If there is a war, I don't know. Maybe. But I'm hoping that there isn't a next war, you know? Because I like kicking back and taking it easy once in a while. Actually get to enjoy life, not, just going off to war. That's why I'm not a general anymore.
You think you're gonna go back?
Nah, even if I did, I doubt they'd accept me. Seeing how I would have questionable allegiances.
Who do you follow now?
My own heart, buddy. That's why I'm here in Veer.
Is there anything in Veer that brought you here?
Well, I suppose what's left of my family that didn't move over to Forsaken Waste is still here. I suppose technically I'm part of the noble house of the House of Gust, but I'm not really much for running it.
Yeah, I don't have anybody to care for anymore.
Not a single
Just live
soul.
my life. No, not really. Not that I know of.
It's at this point that Johnny finally throws the boulder back over to the rock pile. It's just been hovering over there this entire time you guys have been talking.
And as he said that line that apparently he has no one to care for, I just sneezed really loud at the bar.
Alright. Hold on, let me look up my list. So you say you're not as powerful, no one to live for, nothing else to live for. So is this your purpose now? Vengeance? Don't you want to do other things for your life rather than living your life seeking to kill someone or something? A dream that might be far out of your reach?
Becoming courageous.
Maybe rebuilding Zakini.
You consistently butcher the name.
Zakini? Zucchani?
Zucchani. Yeah, Zucchani. The specific pronunciation is important. It is named Zucchani, not Zucchani or Zuku. Yeah, Zucchani.
I thought he said zucchini. That's why I was like.
that was why I was laughing, because I was like, that is the worst mispronunciation you've done so far.
I mean, Zorg is drunk or high. I mean, come on, man.
It's like I wanted to say you're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Well, I'm not one to judge. I tend to follow whatever my heart tells me to. So if you want to go and seek vengeance, then by all means, go for it. You should just know that such a task is very difficult. If you don't have the powers of God, then you can't even hope to defeat a god in battle. So are you gambling everything on that little god shard and those little marks? From the sounds of it, you haven't even mastered any of your marks.
I haven't.
Are you intending to tap into that power? Because typically it takes a lifetime to even master harnessing the power.
How long have you been training, Johnny?
I mean, it's different for me. I come from a chosen family line. Even my great ancestor fought against the demons when they first appeared. The Gust line has always been chosen. So, we naturally have a much greater control and power over our mark. Not to mention, technically we're still chosen.
Is there any way to become chosen?
If you can get into good favors of God, then sure, they would choose you. But do you think Nile would really see that mark and want to choose you based on that alone?
Of course not.
Yeah, you need to work for it. I guess I'm a little bit more fortunate because I didn't really need to work that hard for mine.
I'm gonna have to work hard if I want to kill the gods.
And you say that, and you can feel the wind swirling around you. He says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!" Now, even if that's what you want to do, you don't want to say that out loud. That is blasphemous, sacrilegious. I can definitely see an Inquisition wanting to hang you over wanting to do something like this.
Always been a little bit crazy.
So is that what you want to do? You can feel like wind. You can feel some wind flowing between you two. All the sound from the outside, you can't hear it anymore. The sounds of the ballistas firing, the sound of bows firing, you can't hear it anymore. It's just, you can only hear what Johnny says. What? Are you intending to usurp the whole pantheon?
No, of course not. I feel that the gods should pay for some of what they've done.
And how exactly do you tend to do that, huh? Some mythical gods shard that you found gods knows where that you claim you can't even use?
The god shard's powerful.
Uh-huh. Sure it is. And he doesn't, you can tell he doesn't believe you.
I'm not gonna try to convince you otherwise.
Buddy, if you can't throw boulders around, or if you can't throw boulders around, or you can't vaporize things, you're not even going to have a power to challenge any gods. Whatever that god shard you claim is capable of. Have you even tested it out yet?
I told you the consequences were severe if I tried.
So in other words, no. You don't even know if it works.
Multiple different gods want it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Sure. Well, are you intending to just reject the powers of all the gods? Because I doubt any of them are going to give you power to kill them, you know? Except maybe Rukari, the god of vengeance.
Of course not. I don't plan to. Forsake all gods. Some gods, like Zygon, deserve to be punished, not usurped.
Punished isn't just killing them once?
Not killing, more like taking away some of his power or influence.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that happen. I doubt anything like that would happen, otherwise Solemn and Visage would not exist, neither would Rosend. If it were just easy as a snap of a finger, or just a consensus of the gods, then, well, we wouldn't have our demonic problem. But hey, it's good to dream big, you know? Even if your dreams are unreachable.
I know that it's very unlikely. But you know, you only have one life, one shot.
And do you really want to devote that whole life to seeking vengeance, instead of building up what you have left?
What do I have left?
Well, have you made anything for yourself here?
Not really. I did a few missions. Basically the same old mercenary thing.
He puts his hand on your shoulder. I think you need to find yourself a little lady and settle yourself down.
That
You
life's
just-
not meant for me.
What? Alright, fine. It was worth a shot. If you're really dead set on marrying yourself to your vengeance, then who am I to judge? I'm just here to... That isn't why I wanted to call you out here anyways. Not to flex on you or tell you how to live your life. I'm here to tell you that even if you reject the powers of the gods, you can still learn something from them. Though, you'll never be as strong as the gods. The gods cover all sorts of things. Physical strength, the elements, nature, thoughts, knowledge, souls, even destiny. No matter how hard you train, you're never going to be stronger than a person who bears the mark of Geneth. No matter how hard no matter how great of a fighter you are, you're helpless in the face of Niall's mind control. But at the very least, you can learn a little from each of the gods. And take what little you know, and maybe, you'll have a shot at achieving at whatever you want to do. Which brings me to why I brought you here. I've been wondering, you still fighting with that dinky old axe?
You know it.
I've been wondering, why don't you use your shield more? I mean, not like a thing to deflect weapons, you know? Shields have killed people before, you know?
Yeah, I've used my shield a few times, but it's always usually for defense.
Why not use it for both offense and defense?
What do you mean?
Well, let's start simple, all right? You see that target over there? And he points at a straw dummy that's sitting out in the middle of the field. It doesn't have any arrows sticking out of it. I want you to hit that dummy without walking over to it.
Zorg will try to throw his shield.
Okay. Make a, I guess just make any of your weapon attacks, because it should use the same skill checks. It's strength plus proficiency, 1d20.
I gotta click a target.
Click yourself. Click your own token.
Yeah, alright. I clicked that.
Yeah, okay. So you throw your shield, it clinks, it hits the dummy, and then it clatters down onto the ground right after hitting the dummy. You see? Just like that. And I know what you're thinking. Well, what am I gonna do now? My shield's gone. That's where you can take some lessons from Gale. Gale revolves around manipulating not only the air, but the magic in the air. Nearby, you can hear some mages casting some spells on some of the dummies. And he says, manipulating the magic in the air is fairly potent. You can think of it like the water pushing something ahead. Like the water you can think of it like pushing water down a river and carrying whatever's in the river along with it. For example, take that spell over there, and a mage is casting the spell Fireball. And you can see Johnny invoke his mark, and he redirects the course of the fireball. Well, throws it straight up into the air, and it throws it straight up into the air, and throws it over by the rocks for all the artillery, basically, and it explodes in a big fire. Now, I know this steps into the realm of magic, but you do have a god mark in you, so I know you've got a little bit of magic within you. So why don't we start simple, you know? And he extends his hand out, he pulls it back, and your shield flies towards you. Let's start small. See if you can levitate your little shield there. Just concentrate, close your eyes and concentrate on the mana around you. You can feel the air currents, right?
Yes.
Now try to focus. You can probably use your god mark as the initial focus, just to get you started. And try to push that air. Try to imagine a little tornado and push that air around. And try to lift that little shield right off your hand. And after some time, as you're concentrating, you do feel the air current begin to build up around your hand, basically, as the shield begins to lift itself up into the air.
The shield's levitating above my hand.
Essentially, yeah. You can feel the air pressure as you can feel the swirling wind.
I did it, Johnny. Now what?
Well, now that you know how to at least levitate it, you can at least manipulate the air around you, nearby. Most people who have the Mark of Gale, clerics, and wind mages, they can manipulate the wind from far away and guide projectiles and magic alike along. For you, it's going to be close range, but when you control the mana around you, you can effectively guide it, kind of like drawing a path to your target. And it doesn't just stop when you impact the target, you can bring it back. Watch. I can show you. And he picks up the shield, and with just a light flick of the wrist, he throws it the wrong direction. He throws it to the left when the targets are to the right, and you can see it swirling, or you can see it swirl, make a U-turn basically. Fly behind him, hit the target, and then fly back to you. And he basically tells you, I'd recommend you try to catch it, unless you want to get hit.
So we'll try to grab it.
Okay. Yeah, you grab it with no issue. And he says, alright. I made it look easy. But I want you to keep practicing with that little power you've got. Think about just guiding the shield along. This will improve your offensive options. Not only that, if you master throwing your shield, you'll master, say, redirecting projectiles that are trying to hit you. You might be able to apply it in a variety of other ways, not just not just by throwing your shield. Alright, with that, with that, we basically see Zorg experimenting with shield. Like, what are your ideas? How are you experimenting with this little wind magic that Johnny has taught you?
Zorg is trying to throw his shield and make it come back to him, and he is failing. But he is getting the hang of it.
Okay. Alright. Every single time it clatters onto the ground or stops halfway, Johnny uses wind magic to pull it right back to you so that you can try it again. And eventually, like, we fast forward, eventually you do catch the shield. You throw the shield and it comes back, it hits the target and then comes directly back to you. And
Just
Johnny
like a
gives...
boomerang.
Yep, essentially. Well, not exactly like a boomerang, but similarly. When a boomerang hits something, it doesn't come back.
Captain America shield.
Yes, it's basically a Captain America shield. He gives you a little clap. He says, redirecting projectiles isn't the only thing that you can do. On top of that, you can use it to boost your movement. See if you can use the wind to help you when you move around, to make your steps just a little bit lighter.
Zorg thinks about it for a minute, and then he gets into a running stance, and he imagines little tornadoes underneath his feet as he sprints.
Okay. You do feel the wind following behind you. You do feel just a little bit lighter on your feet. Not really enough to boost your move speed, but enough that you feel like you have better control over your body. Alright. You're beginning to get the hang of it. While you aren't really fast enough to make that much of a difference in running speed, you can still apply it to your basic movements. Not only can you redirect projectiles, but you can also redirect, say, melee attacks. He pulls out a sword. He pulls out a sword. Says, "This is just a blunt training sword. You might get a couple bruises here and there, but it's nothing that'll cause lethal damage, I suppose. Not without considerable effort." By the way, can you guys hear me? Because I noticed my Discord is frozen. Hello? Ah, shit. Oh, Discord. No, Discord. Okay, my Discord froze, so I assumed that it crashed.
Nice.
Okay.
That's correct,
so-
Jorah.
Yeah. It was frozen, so I just pulled up Task Manager and just closed it manually. just in case.
Yeah, you were frozen in space and time.
Anyway.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back. Okay, so, Zorg. He pulls out a blunt metal sword. He says,
He pulls out a blunt. Damn, dog, pass it around.
So he pulls out a blunt sword and he says, "Don't worry, this sword isn't sharp. It'll leave some bruises, but that'll basically be it." He twirls it around and says, "Blade dancers of Farwind like manipulating the wind to make unpredictable strikes. Put up your shield. Try to block this hit like normal, like I'm a warrior in combat."
Zorg raises his shield, ready for.
Okay. "I know you're a better sword fighter than me, but with help of the wind, you'd be surprised at just what you can do." And he runs at you. He swings to the right side of you. Facing him, it's your right. I'm not sure which arm you have your shield on, whether it's the left or the right.
It'd be the left arm.
Left arm. Okay. So he's attacking from your right side.
Zorg will try to block.
Okay. You try to predict exactly where the sword will be, and at the last moment, it suddenly switches directions. Goes over your shield, and slaps your and smacks you. Let's see, with all the mechanics, goes over your shield and hits you across the chest, basically.
Zorg will grince in pain and say, "How did that happen?"
Like I said, you can imagine controlling wind magic as guiding something down a stream. So, you can take that momentum, you can take that direction, and you can just adjust exactly where it's going to go.
Can I counter adjust?
You can certainly try. Try to help with wind magic. It's important that you need to keep your arm. It's important that, well, it's a paradox. You need to keep your muscles firm when blocking a hit, but also loose enough to allow it to be guided by the wind. Your mind can often react a lot faster than your body can. So just try to feel it out.
Zorg will take a deep breath,
Okay.
calm himself.
And Johnny goes to strike you again. Alright.
Zorg will try to block again, but this
Okay.
time he will.
This time he'll what?
imagine a gust of wind adjusting his sword into the shield.
Okay, you deflect it. And he says, okay, you deflect his sword. You deflect his sword, and you notice that his swing goes. You deflect his sword. You gently adjust his sword and guide it in a different direction. Guide it along in the direction he was going. And essentially, you force him to overswing, which would leave him open. If you had a sword, you could exploit it.
So we'll throw a punch at his gut.
A punch at his gut. Okay. Make a make another weapon attack. Click your token because it's gonna ask for a target.
21.
Okay. Oh yeah. You solidly hit him right in the gut. you can see, like, you can see that you knock some of the air out of his lungs. And he goes stagger back and he says, "All right. That's a bit more like it." Using the wind, you can just push your arm along just like that. If someone's about to hit you, not only can you deflect it, you might even be able to guide where their weapon goes. So I recommend you try this. So I recommend you try to use what little I've taught you. Don't shy away from the power of the other gods. They are experts in their fields. Even if you don't want to devote yourselves to any of them, you can still learn something from them. Whether it's magnetism, whether it's guiding your shield, whether it's to help you concentrate or resist mind control, there's a lot you can learn. What route do you think you're going to take, Zorg? Are you going to reject all divine powers and all magic? Or do you think you're going to try to take what little you can learn from the gods and make it yours?
Zorg's gonna try to make his own path by using the god's powers. And his own strength.
I've taught you what I can teach you about the winds of Gale. At least, to someone who doesn't bear a mark and is unskilled with magic. If you want to learn the powers of the other gods, you're gonna have to keep an eye out. I'm sure you'll find plenty of interesting individuals in these tournaments, in these competitions, maybe even the Tournament of Steele.
Hopefully I'll pick up a few more tricks.
I'm rooting for you, buddy.
Thanks, Johnny.
Would you tell him that you're going to go chase the golden rooster?
Probably not.
Probably not? Okay.
It's not on his mind at the moment.
Okay. He would say... if you want to see some interesting individuals, then I recommend you go chase that. Well, you go watch the golden rooster chase. Because I'm sure there's plenty of individuals who think... There are plenty of individuals from all over who are itching to show off what they've got.
Catching the golden cock.
I mean, I was trying to avoid saying that, but if you want to... but if you really want to refer to it as such, then go ahead, my friend.
What's the reward?
It sounds like they will allow you to pick a rare magic item from their inventory. Bear in mind that people have died in that competition.
From others?
It sounds like they've got rules against violence between participants. So one would have to imagine that it was the golden rooster.
Have you ever seen the golden rooster?
Nah. Do I look like a cock chaser?
You know anything about it?
Well, I know it's the undefeated champion of 10 years. But really, I'm just about as in the dark as you. It's not really my cup of tea. Do you have any questions you want to pose?
I'm back.
Nothing I need to ask Johnny at the moment.
None?
None.
Alright. Pyre. Well, actually, before I go to Pyre,
I am here, by the way.
yeah, okay. Alright. So what was the party's plan? Were you going to join in the Golden Rooster hunt?
Secret was not.
You asking everybody?
Yep.
Zorg would want to join the golden chicken hunt.
I already said I was down.
Pyre could be convinced to spectate, but he is not one to be a chicken chaser.
I think the last time I tried to catch a chicken.
Secret had different plans. They were gonna go meet that supposed adopted sister of Cassidy's today.
It doesn't necessarily have to be that today.
Well, that was originally what they agreed to. But
Okay.
even if it's not today, he's not going to the chicken thing. He's not even going.
Okay. Alright. And Stefan, you interested or are you going to stay back?
Ash seems to be very interested in the
feel like Monica
contest. And I'm going to suggest to Monica that we both put an enhancement on him that will let him fly at a really expeditious speed,
Okay.
and maybe he
Alright.
can catch the golden rooster.
Alright. Alright. Fly.
You were really after it, aren't you, Ash?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, Monica will do a fly on you, and I'll do an expeditious retreat, which will be just like hasting you virtually,
Wait.
because you'll be able to.
You can already do that. He can already bonus action dash as a rogue. But it
Yeah,
is
I
gonna
know,
help
but
Zorg.
this will
Yeah.
give him more
You will give him more.
speed. Oh yeah, expeditious for speed. It magically enhances it.
Bonus action, each returns, take a dash action. You know, now that I think about it, he's got 2 bonus actions, so he can expeditious retreat as one of his other bonus actions, and cunning action dash, as well as normal action dash.
Plus, he can fly
Okay.
at 60 if we do this.
Yep, and 60. So 60 is his base movement, so that is 240.
So that's going to give you a hell of a lot of speed.
240.
That's
Yeah.
what he's
Yeah.
aiming.
You're going to be able to at least keep up with that damn rooster.
Zorg would like to talk to Pyre about getting the
And we can
artifact.
stand on the sidelines and cheer for you.
Yeah.
I wonder how much more speed I'll get if I take cocaine or meth.
If you can't get up there at 240, I don't know what's going to get you any faster.
Gotta get that go-go juice.
Let's see. We've only got an hour left in this session. We'll see. Let's see. Okay. Zaliel, were you going or staying?
I believe Zaliel's not here right now.
If you want a chicken chase,
Sorry.
we can include you in
It's
that.
muted. Yeah, I'm definitely coming with a chicken chase because the last time I think I tried and casted a spell on someone was like,
Good
"Oops, this is
suggestion.
my chicken."
Yep, you casted.
Well, if you're really
suggestion.
interested, we could include you in the spell when we
I
cast.
mean, if Stefan, if you want to include me in something, I mean, I'm not gonna say no. I mean, you're
Well,
kind of
Monica
scary.
can make you fly, and I can make you expeditiously retrievable. At least for 10 minutes.
Unfortunately, you guys can only affect one because Monica can only affect. Oh wait. She can affect one other person and Stefan specifically. Stefan is always the
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I was
It
mistaken.
doesn't
I
work
thought we
just
could
like you.
affect two.
It doesn't work exactly like yours because for some reason it will always affect Stefan and not anyone else.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
then
she
we
can
can't
affect
make you fly.
Well, she can
Sorry,
target
Zaliel.
Zaliel as a primary target, and then the next one and then secondary target is always Stefan. So yeah, she can fly Zaliel or Ash, whichever.
Well, I guess you're out of the picture on the flying part, Zaliel. Because
Well, I mean,
we're committed to Ash on this contest.
to be honest, Stefan, I think there's a bird-like creature waiting for me to fly on her, so I'd hate to take that away from her. So yes,
You
Make it
can
fly.
go get your bird-like girl.
it's like I don't know if it's a girl or not. I didn't check if it was female, to be honest, Stefan. Good question.
When you said her,
Well, I just assumed. I didn't mean to be like, I don't know, sexist. I don't want to be an ist, but I just assumed the bird-like creature I was courting was a girl. I don't know. I'll check next time. I promise.
whatever. If you're shy, it's okay.
Stefan, I don't even know how to respond to you. You're too genius, and I just started kind of like pacing in circles.
All right. So Pyre, the thing is, there might be a way for me to rope Pyre into trying to chase the chicken. That would involve me bumping your character thing up forwards.
So I believe I have stated out of character Pyre would probably die before chasing a chicken. I don't want to draw lines and stop the story, DM. It's just I have my doubts.
Even if RuneScar literally told you to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, unfortunately. Like I think that would be very close to Pyre. It would have to be a conversation.
Have to be a conversation. I've only got 1 hour for the golden.
Pyre
rooster,
knows
but I'm not entirely
RuneScar
sure.
fucks with things, so for him to say like go chase the chicken, Pyre would be like. Anyways, we'd have to set the scene. I'm okay with setting the scene.
Yeah.
If you know he just wants to laugh at you, that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, set the scene. So, we had briefly been talking about upgrading Pyre's armor, so we are going to bump that event forwards and probably do the Golden Rooster Hunt next week. Okay. So Pyre, after the festivities are going on in town, and you decide now would probably be the best time to see what you could learn from RuneScar, because you're going to be fighting in the Tournament of Steele. You know that. So you want to be as prepared as you can. Alright. So Mr. Butler lets you in. Actually, last time he built the forge outside, so he's probably going to do the same thing again. Alright, so you can either start off in the forge, or you can start off with Mr. Butler letting you in so you can talk with RuneScar. I'll let you choose either scene.
We can roll for it. So yeah. Let's just do the RuneScar. Pyre does the cordial entrance. He isn't apologetic. He is confident, but he is respecting the older dragon's territory.
You can see in the room along with him is a female gnome. She seems to be working at a table. She's got a little small magnifying glass, kind of like spyglass sort of thing over her eye as she seems to be checking a little metal bracelet.
Okay. Pyre
says-
will naturally ignore the gnome.
Yep. The gnome
He
glances
takes
up.
note.
The gnome glances up, then looks back down and continues tinkering. And Runescar
Pyre,
welcomes in.
despite himself, is not the best at hiding his emotions. She glances up and he looks away as if he's been caught looking at her. But he is firmly interested with that instrument on the wall.
Yeah, that's just a randomly generated instrument. She's definitely not making a gnome tank or something along those lines at all.
No.
Runescar welcomes you. Welcome. What and how may I help you, Pyre? Are you here for another lesson?
I need to prepare for the tournament, and well, I guess that depends. I was intending to work on the armor, but if you have it in you to give me a lesson, then I would rather adhere to your timing than mine.
The Tournament of Steele. The Tournament of Steele. Well, I can't have any
It's a
grandson
test.
of mine. Yes, indeed a test. I can't have any grandson of mine be humiliated in such a tournament. So, I say we can accelerate your lessons just a little bit for the sake of the tournament. I hope that you will make the name Runescar proud. At least, the name of your mother.
Pyre's brow twitches a little bit at that. I didn't realize you shared the last name. Is it passed down through family, or does each dragon choose their own?
It's passed down through family. Many dragons have their own last name. Of course, that is my daughter's maiden name.
Oh. I'd ask for the married name, but Cal looks at the sky. Let's not invite unwanted eyes.
I mean, it would likely be whatever your last name is. I forget if you put a last name on your
I didn't, I believe. I've literally had my character refer to himself as like the son of Zygon or the son of innovation. I don't know if Pyre has a last name.
Zygon can go through a number of them. It can vary, so
We can figure it out later, Jorah, if it
I'd
matters,
say-
but meanwhile
I'd
you
say
can use the
that's-
filler with words.
I'd say that Zygon probably flips between multiple last names, so no one knows what the heck his last name is, like Firebringer, Firestarter, Flare, various fire-related last names, but he keeps forgetting which generation he's currently on. So to keep things simple, you just refer to yourself by your first name.
Yeah, that works.
And like you're sitting there contemplating which last name is the correct last name for at least for your mother's generation. And he says, and you're brought out of your thoughts with a snap of the finger. Boy,
He looks at the hand and back to Runescar.
I suppose I will allow you to make the first proposal. What do you think will assist you in the Tournament of Steele that you believe is within your abilities to craft?
Unfortunately, it's a simple matter. I had less heavy armor. It's come to my attention that the team I am going to be fighting alongside sees me as someone to not go down with a single hit. That means improving the weaknesses and putting less emphasis on travel and comfort and more on defense. So in short, I'm not even sure if I need magic. It's simply the design of a traditional plate mail suit that would fit my less than common body design.
I see. Well, at the very least, you have the armor of gleaming. With the crystal of visage, with the crystal of visage, I forget what were all the stones that you got in, because it was different from the list that I put in. I believe it was slightly different.
So Pyre had come up with his own thing, and it somewhat failed its intent. And then we went with rune scars. So it is your list.
Okay. That is a good question as to which one of my old handouts actually has the list. So, I'm going to say that you probably used the Mark of Reyna for durability and the Mark of Visage. So he says, you've already used both of those. They allow for the armor to shift itself around and make up for any vulnerabilities that might appear. With that in mind, we just need to add a little bit more metal to it. But that's simply maintenance and mundane improvements. How do you think you can improve your armor further? What tool would you think that would help you in the Tournament of Steele?
It's not a matter of what tools, but it's a matter of time. Time and energy investment. The simplest one is to fit to my strengths. The issue I have is I found it quite useful to use the God's Mark when I was below the mine and pressed to compensate for those around me. And while it helped, it was unfocused. I need something that will allow me to direct and channel it better rather than have to push something from my back or my hands. Lack of better terms, I have a blade, but it doesn't have a good edge yet. That would be the quickest and most intuitive one I could change.
I see. In that case, why not let your armor shape to fit your body whenever you need it to?
It could work feasibly, but it requires bending the material to the right circumstances. I don't want to accidentally pinch off a nerve or a limb simply because I directed the armor in the wrong way in the heat of battle. That's part of the designs, and he'll reach into his pack and pull out some sketches and schematics he's done.
You can think of it like a sword. You could easily cut off a finger or two with misuse, but that's why you train. You train with it so that it becomes an impossibility. Or rather, the chances of you failing yourself due to fumbling is very unlikely.
An extension of oneself.
Indeed. I'd say that there are a few more crystals we can add to your suit, along with the metals to make it denser and more reliable when taking blows. He gets up out of his metal chair and he walks to the back of the room with the closet that basically has a whole nother room or dimension inside of it. After rummaging through, he takes out a bunch of crystals again. He throws a few of them up into the air. Throws them up into the air in your direction for you to catch.
Oh dear. Pyre tries. He does try.
Make a sleight of hand check.
This is not going to go well, DM.
Oof.
Mhm.
Well, it's
But
not,
not
a
natural
fumble, but-
ones.
They're flying right at you, but you're not very like was physical combat training, was that something standard in your learning, or was it mostly like mental stuff as art?
Oh, there was a standard physicality to it, but he was never pressed.
Okay.
It was
So-
a recreational rather than training.
So he was expecting you to have like these fine-honed skills. Something's flying at you. I'm going to probably catch it. You raise your hands up in the air to catch it, and it kind of just bounces off your head and drops onto the ground. They don't explode or anything, but you do look back and see Runescar's visible disappointment in you. And it,
Pyre kind of looks to the ground, considering picking it up. Sighs, he'll do it. He'll do it, DM.
like if you take a moment, like he makes the hand gesture of, go on, come on, we don't have all day.
And it's like a knight in armor trying to use a toothpick, DM. It's hard. He doesn't have the manipulation. Eventually just scrapes them with one palm onto the other.
My. You've got the Mark of Visage and the Mark of Reyna, and yet you still haven't bothered to master how to use them. How long have you had that armor? Couple days now?
Couple days, yeah. Well, I have my reasons.
The female gnome shakes her head. She gets back to working on her tinkering.
Pyre looks up, terrified. Turns back to Runescar, realizing he had misspoke just reflexively. Spent too much time around Stefan's compatriot. So, do you always have concubines fiddling in here?
Concubines, as in, I believe that's wife, isn't it? Something like harem.
It is like a... It's not a wife. It's more like a woman that you have intercourse with or relations
No.
with. But
No,
not
the word you're
someone
looking
who
for
is
is
officially
synonym
married.
mistress.
Mistress.
Yeah, that'd be a...
Mistress.
Yeah.
That's the synonym you're looking for. A concubine is basically a mistress.
A mistress.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like you see him shoot you a glare, and he goes, I know your memory might be a bit lacking, but I will remind you that I have another disciple, one that is female, and you would do well to at least have the how do I put it? To at least have a... Zaliel has left the call. To at least have a baseline level of etiquette when a woman is in the room. You two have been standing here, and yet you so much as don't want to, and yet you have yet to so much as look her in the eye. Have you
Pyre
learned
looks
nothing from
around
Zaliel?
confused.
Or were you always this barbaric?
I don't see anyone who... No. Looks back at Runescar. No. No, this is a joke. You would never. A gnome.
My. I guess it does run in the family. I guess you kept your hopes up for nothing, Runescar. Like father, like son. Isn't that right? And she looks you in the eyes. If you're willing to meet them.
Oh, he's not meeting them. You wouldn't. A gnome. A gnome of all things. No, this is inconceivable. A woman I can understand. Talent where there should not be found. But so weak, so small, so... they are a race that is a prank of the gods. They're the laughingstock. Your reputation.
She gets up. She walks towards you. She's not even half your size. And she looks at you. She looks up at you. And she says, "You want to repeat that again, fucker?" Because I'm pretty sure I can... Because I'm pretty sure in the next moment, you'll be 8 feet under, 10 feet back when I'm done with you.
He will meet her eyes. She's actually bothered. First of all, DM, you did send me a picture, but I would like exquisite detail. What is she wearing?
What is she wearing?
I am appraising her for puntability.
Puntability. Okay, let me see if I've got her picture here. I need to rename it so that you don't find out her name. Female Dobe. Because I don't want you to save the picture and then find out, oh, that's what her name is. A female gnome is going to be what it's renamed to. I will send the picture to you for you to look at. She looks...
to praise for puntability. Like I thought, she is wearing essentially a wizarding to engineer's outfit where it's leathers and cloth. It's not heavy metal or anything. I do see some goggles, glasses.
It looks like it.
Nothing defensive.
Doesn't look like it, no.
She hit you with her coffee thermos on the wall there.
Like, she sees you measuring her up, and like, she's looking at you like, do it. I fucking dare you.
Oh, that is... I'm rolling a wisdom check, DM. If it's below a 10, I will punt her. He almost does. He just jerks his head at her, a little bit of a snap. Nothing to actually get close to her, but enough where it's a predatory movement.
So, looks like you lack backbone just like your father, huh?
I know better than to attack someone in a dragon's domain. How much is he paying you?
Paying?
For this?
He's not paying me anything, nor am I paying him anything.
Then why are you suicidal?
I'm not.
You cannot have lived this long in Vir or anywhere with this attitude and that stature.
Oh, trust me. I only act this way to arrogant pricks like you. Because sometimes sometimes sheltered, noble, privileged noblemen like you need to be shown what it's like to be on the ground for once.
If I didn't want to be on the ground, I wouldn't have left home. So
And yet
you
here
think you have something to tell me.
And yet here
You think you
are.
have something to offer. No, this isn't an offer. You're challenging me. Alright, fine. I accept, but not here. If Runescar allows it, I do not want his ire, because he has things I desire. And He has family. Where? When?
And Rootscar says, now, here.
Punting him. Her, sorry. Punting her, DM. Immediately.
Make your strength roll +2.
Okay. Would this be a attack or an athletics check?
This would be an actual attack, so strength +2.
Okay. I have stuff that may actually give me bonuses, but I need to look up the details. Let's see. This is for strength check. Does this count as a strength check?
Yes, this is a strength check, basically.
Excellent. I can
I
add
would
my
include this-
intelligence.
I would include this as anything that you get for a normal weapon attack would be included as well, unless it's specific to a weapon.
I am using the charge. +7. Let's hit her.
Okay.
I don't even have a macro set up for this. Okay.
Don't you have to move a certain length to do that?
I am going to do a Arcana check because that has a +7. And 2 plus. No, it's more than 7. Oh my gosh. So I have +2 from strength, +2 from proficiency, and then +5 from intelligence. So it's +9.
+9.
I thought
Okay.
you said charge.
Well, a charge from his armor. Yes.
Yeah,
not
okay. I thought he meant the
Minotaur charge. No.
act of a charge, and
No.
he has to go like 15 feet to get benefit of that.
The first
Okay.
attack is a 25, unless I have disadvantage, which gnomes I kind of expect that.
She makes no effort to dodge. As you quickly wind up your kick. You see erupting out of her body, erupting from underneath her clothes, is a big metal wad, like a big metal ooze. It immediately meets your foot, and a big shield forms around this woman, and make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, there is definitely follow-up I'd like to do this, but let's start with the dexterity throw. That is a 19. That should not have happened. Okay, great.
A 19.
She has
But
become the
still-
ball.
You have taken. You're still going to take half damage, and you're not going to take the first effect. Okay, so you're going to take half damage. Okay. So you're going to take half damage. So you take 4 damage. You take 4 damage as you just hear as you feel an explosion. An explosion blasts your foot back.
All right, bonus action. There was a ball. Is it still covering her as my foot is blasted backwards, and I try to process what just happened?
All this takes place in 6 seconds, so that would be the end of your turn if you want to try to process and figure out exactly what happened. If not, you can just make a next move.
I'm just going to make a next move. Okay. I'm assuming that ball lasts a little bit of time. I will use a Mark of Zygon to light it on fire from the inside.
Okay. So you put your mark onto, so you're gonna touch that ooze and try to put fire through it, right?
Do I need line of sight?
You currently can't see her right now, but you can certainly try.
All right, I'll try to just. I know where she was. I assume she's within the ooze, so it's just. I assuming the ooze is hollow. I imagine where she is, and I try to use the Mark of Zygon there.
You channel your fire. You channel the fire onto the skin of the ooze, and you notice that the fire, like you're channeling as much fire as you can. You want to hurt
Oh,
her.
I want to burn her.
And the fire, it looks like it's being completely dispersed by the ooze. Like, you see just big fire ripples just erupting out of the ooze. And it does confuse you a little, because you've never met any sort of steel that can diffuse a Mark of Zygon like this. Most of the time, you can at least burn a little hole through, at minimum, or potentially even bypass it and go inside. But this is just a complete dispersal.
Wide stance, feet digging into the floor with claws, teeth bared, and turn.
Okay. The ooze wraps around the gnome, and it forms a full set of plate armor. Plate armor looking similar to the plate armor you were probably intending to craft. And she takes a step forward. She takes a step forward. She looks unamused, unimpressed. Even looking up at you, you can feel like she's actually looking down at you.
I want to kill her so bad!
It says, and I was expecting a clash, something like this. I was expecting you guys to bounce off like oil and water. But anyway, she looks up at you, and she says, "So is this the power of Zygon? Is this all you have? Because I have to say, it's quite pitiful."
If it was the power of Zygon, he wouldn't be there. All right. I need to think about which one she's going to use. Which one is she going to use? Go ahead. Well, it could be seen as lethal. I started with a blow. We'll see where she escalates. I'm curious. Also, I should probably add unarmed with strength and stuff.
I think she's gonna use
And
that.
I assume my unarmed attacks are 1 damage, not 1d4. Yes?
Most of the time I roll with no 1d4 damage, unless we've got a monk in the party.
Alright.
So you can just assume it's 1d4. Okay. You can see the gauntlet of her armor begin to glow. And she's casually walking towards you. She's not dashing towards you. The gauntlet begins to glow. Alright. I will allow you to react. It looks like, I mean, just simply from looking at what she is planning to do, it looks like she's intending to punch you.
Alright. The glowingness. Tell me about it. What color?
Purple.
That is not... That's a very gnomish color. Huh! Purple? Alright, DM. What is the worst thing I could do to her? I feel like you're baiting my reaction. I know force doesn't work. And we're in my uncle's house, so the ground is probably more stable. Have I left any marks or claws on the ground?
There seems to be a little bit of battle damage. There does seem to be burn marks from the Mark of Zygon, but none spreading like a wildfire like in a house. It doesn't seem like it's actually lit anything on fire, and there does seem to be some scratch marks on the ground as well.
All right, let's abuse physics, DM. And Pyre, being who he is, will go ahead and plan a move. She's walking, she's casual, she's overconfident, she needs to be put in her place, and she wants to do exactly what he's about to do to her. We're going to punch each other's fists.
Okay.
But I will step on her foot before we contact, so that her balance is more difficult to maintain.
Okay. Dirty fighting. Alright, alright. Alright. Let's do... So, we'll first do an acrobatics, and if you roll... and if you do roll
Sure.
high... If you do roll high, then we will count that towards your attack roll.
Okay, this will be fun. Feel free to put a penalty if it's too low, because this is going to be like punching the ground. Yep, that is a 2. Favorite number of today.
So, you plan on fighting dirty, it's like, screw this girl, I'm gonna take her down no matter what. So you stomp the ground, so you do try to stomp her foot, and you actually do. You do catch her foot. And she doesn't seem fazed by it, as she winds up her punch. Roll your strength roll with advantage.
Okay. She's using magic, I'll use magic. This is not just a punt. This is a Thunder Gauntlet attack. So
Okay,
it's...
what...
If you want me to do strength, I'm fine with it, but this would be intelligence-based, which is actually a little worse.
Does it have anything unique about it?
It does, actually.
Okay, well, then we just need to know exactly what that does.
Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Arcane armor isn't what I'm looking for. Armor module. Thunder gauntlets. Each of the armor's gauntlets count as a simple melee weapon.
Yep.
1d8 thunder damage on a hit. Disadvantage on attack rolls if a creature is hit by... So a creature hit by the gauntlet has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you until the start of your next turn. Blah, blah, blah. That's it. So if I had a team, it would make them less
Okay.
prone. It doesn't really help the situation. But hey, magic.
Magic, huh? Okay. Make your attack roll then, with advantage.
All right. Thunder Gauntlet. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I have to choose a target.
Yep, choose yourself.
I'm going
You
to
should not
target
choose-
myself.
Yeah, don't choose her because her sheet's not fully set up yet.
Apparently, I do not count as a token.
Oh, because
Yeah, I-
that's probably not set up for you guys. You guys don't have that thing set up for you.
Do you mind if I delete my current token and draw a new one on there?
No. Don't do that. It's not going to affect anything. You guys don't have all of the stats that the NPC has and is looking for that stat that all the other NPCs have. So, all right.
I can manually roll it.
So the Thunder Gauntlet punch did go through. I see it down in chat, down at the bottom.
Oh, weird.
So-
Okay.
So your fists clash. The second your gauntlet clashes with her fist, you can see a yellow mark appear on her armor, and you feel a really. You're expecting, like, what were you expecting when you clashed fists?
One of our fists to break.
One of your fists to break. Okay.
Preferably hers, but yes, it was he was not holding back in case something broke. It was either his fist was going to be completely shattered or hers was.
Okay. She lets you stomp on her foot. She walks up and meets your punch. The second your fist meets her fist, you can see a yellow mark light up on her armor, and she punches with a force significantly greater than you were expecting. And your arm just flies backwards. You take 24 damage.
All right.
You take 24 damage as it launches you. Actually, make make a strength saving throw.
Okay. And I will use the armor's ability again, because by golly, I need it. So I'll add my intelligence to that strength, and just add 5 to whatever it rolls.
Okay.
So that is a 24.
A 24. That succeeds. That succeeds. Your arm is badly bruised. You get launched backwards a couple steps. And she says, "Pop quiz. What did I just use?" Any artificer worth their salt would know exactly what just happened.
Out of character, DM, I suspect that she just used unobtainium to use my momentum against me.
You can say that
But
if you
that-
want. I'm not going to confirm
That
or deny
is
anything.
not something in this system, I believe. He growls. He doesn't answer.
Are you truly ignorant of the gods? Is your whole world revolved around Zygon? No. I think I know exactly what. You look down upon anyone who isn't your father, and you aren't willing to open your eyes and learn from anyone you see beneath you, not even the common people. Is that it? This, right here, is the power of Geneth, the goddess of strength. Any artificer worth their salt would immediately notice that. The purple glow. There's only a few gods that are represented by the color purple. Grendel is one, and Geneth is the other.
Have you made anything that isn't based on gods?
She looks to Runescar, and Runescar shakes his head. And he looks over to you, Pyre, and he says, and she says, "I could, but it would very likely kill you. Magic that is not related to existing gods, yes."
I didn't say not related. I said not from a god.
That's impossible. Did you learn nothing in Artificer School? Grendel is the
So-
essence of everything. Everything is related to a god.
Then what are you?
I'm just a simple artificer who's looking to put an arrogant noble in their place.
And which god is that who made you? Which god's element is you?
What god is you? And she would say, Who said I draw power from any god in particular? Are you trying to compare me to godlings like you? Because unlike you, I can see beyond such. What would you refer to? Such. How would I get the... I want to say that basically, like, you're too reliant on your god mark. Gods that... I guess nobles like you that rely only on their god marks.
You have no idea who I am. You talk about bringing down nobility. You talk about not learning from commoners. You talk about being on a high plate. You've never looked in a mirror. You don't have to be born of a god to look down on others.
I only look down on other people like you who think that you're so far above us. It's different. I don't look down on the commoners out there, but can you say the same?
Oh, what's the difference between us? I look down on you because you're a gnome, a woman. You look down on me because I'm a godling. What's the difference?
The difference is that I'm actually capable of backing up my might, and I'm a gnome who's
Yeah,
kicking
you
your ass.
haven't stated a single thing you can build. Not one thing, not 1 ounce of innovation. Simply weaving magic without caring about the tool you're weaving it into. I asked what you have crafted with your hands, with your wit, with your intellect, and you said, oh, you didn't even understand the question. Reason I am so poor at artificery and magic is because I did not use my god mark when I could. I've only used it recently out of desperation, and because it's become necessary to my eyes. Before that, I worked on the physical craft, the item, the basis, the foundation. You may be able to put a continent-destroying spell into a spoon, but what if you had an actual weapon? It'd be more effective, faster. You went for the magic, I went for the basics. Yes, you're better than me now, I see that. Maybe there's ways around it, but if you don't kill me now, I will exceed you quickly.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry that your eyes appear to be failing you, because if you see what we have right here, this is my masterpiece. But I know nobles like you, your visions can fail quite a bit. After all, it's difficult seeing up your own ass.
He's walking up aggressively during this. Stops, bends down. The masterpiece she was pointing at or gesturing towards. Where is it, DM?
She's pointing at her suit of armor.
Alright, yeah. He's within a few inches of her, but he hasn't struck. Unless she acted during this time. She may have.
No, she lets you walk up. You guys are staring each other down.
Yeah, he's daring her to him. But he does examine the armor. Liquid metal, what of it? Looking at the physical design, DM, tell me about the flaws. There's always a flaw. If you do something right, you do another thing wrong.
Make an Arcana check at disadvantage.
I'm not doing Arcana. I am doing smithing.
Blacksmithing.
Nothing to do with magic.
Blacksmithing
Everything
at
to do with the functional design. I'm happy to do that. I'm going to do smithing tools. That is a crit fail.
I mean, you saw it as an ooze earlier, so you know that whatever form it has, it can just change its form. So whatever imperfections you see, you're 100% sure it's just not going to be an imperfection in just a moment.
Okay. So he looks it over, growls, glances back at Runescar. Is this why you taught me Armor of Gleaming? You wanted me to be like this? Shifting, changing, moving things around, focusing. You wanted me to chase after her coattails.
No, that was not my intention. I wanted you to be able to use the Mark of Zygon, and most people who do use the Mark of Zygon in the army make a suit of armor similar to that. You can try to make your own, but it's not nearly going to be as efficient as that design. If you want to make something different, then by all means. But know that you will forever be, you will never, ever reach that level.
Never. Looks
That
back at the
armor was
gnome.
made. That armor, and he says that armor has gone through many improvements. Its basis was created by the gods of smithing themselves. So unless you believe that you can surpass both your father and your great grandfather, then you are not going to surpass that armor.
And that is the first time I've had reason to be disappointed in you, Runescar. It is a child's duty to answer the question of not if, not can they do it, but rather will they do it. Yes, I intend to surpass everyone who has come before me. Not because I will, not because I can't, but because that is the sign of being raised correctly by the generation who came before. To do less is to insult those who have come before, both you and my father.
DM out of talk. Could you run that by me again? Sorry.
Okay, let's see if I can do it in simpler terms. It is a child's duty to surpass their parents, because if whatever a child does, it goes to the credit of the parent. If the child can't surpass the parent, then the parent simply failed to raise the child correctly. Does that make sense?
So you're saying that it's Runescar's fault. Is that
Oh,
essentially
quite
what
the
you're
opposite. Pyre's saying that if he doesn't commit to the path of exceeding his forebears, then he will be insulting his forebears and what they've invested in him. Innovation is about improvement, Runescar. It's not about what has come before, but what you can do in the future and the present.
Innovation typically comes with iteration as well. Things are improved, but most ideas do not come out of thin air. Even Zyga knows this principle.
Yeah, but why is improvement so foreign? Yes, I understand it's a high call. It would probably be a lifetime's masterwork, at the very least. No, it's not the particular thing that interests me. I admit it's quite effective in what it does. Yes, you are correct about my lack of knowledge about the other gods. But... So, armor. What else have you done?
She looks to Runescar again. She looks to Runescar again and she says, "Do you think he's worth showing it?" And Runescar says, "I think he can come up with his own ideas." She does have... I am not interested in having you take any ideas from her, but to make new ideas yourself.
I understand. Good. I don't want to copy another person's footsteps, but I think that I don't need to be shown something that can be described, a concept. You don't have to go in detail. A sword, pointy, has a hilt, probably a guard. Easy to describe, but so many different variances in it that to describe it is almost pointless in terms of making it. No, let's do something different. We're going down the wrong track. What, not that you're proud of, what do you enjoy making?
What do you enjoy making? What do I enjoy making?
Yeah.
Simple. chaos.
Dildos.
Yeah, all those magical dildos. I've got 19 flavors of magic. See,
None of them are my
I know what
size.
kind of artificer she is.
no. That's not her actual answer. She says simple. I make tools of war. Various enchanted equipment like armor, hammers, swords, you name it. I've been in this smithing business for quite a while. Heroes who seek to do much. Heroes who seek to do much. I aid them on their way, if I cannot do it myself.
I do not think love is the right word. I am loyal to my father. However, and he reaches down and knocks his metal legs, these have taught me that love can be misplaced quite easily. And I know the feeling of being discarded. So, yes, I will always serve my father. Yes, I put him ahead of everyone else. I get that. But that doesn't mean I'm a yes man or a noble who drinks from a teat. I'm soft. You're right about that. I left home so I could get harder.
The gnome gives a deep sigh.
You ever try growing up in a situation where everyone expects the best of you and anything you make, everything you make, has nothing to do with your own abilities?
Are you expecting pity? Because pity is
No.
not going to get you results.
But I am expecting a intellectual examination of that concept.
Out of character.
Did you
Are
skip
are
philosophical?
Are you referring to
Go ahead.
psychological or?
Philosophical and psychological.
She says, I'm not your therapist and I'm not the one to work out your daddy issues. You are.
All right. You are not easily punted.
Let's see. How would I? Before. So, what was the intention of what you wanted to discuss with her? Just to make sure I wasn't, like, misreading.
Oh, you think Pyre's thinking ahead about her?
Oh, okay.
He's still
Okay.
coming to the terms that he just got laid out by a gnome.
Okay. Can you repeat the last statement that you wanted me to respond
Yes.
to? Yeah.
Absolutely. And if it's a misunderstanding, that's fine. Pyre's horrible at explaining things. You are not easily punted.
You are not easily punted. I can easily just go directly for an insult, but I don't want to. I want her to find some other way to get around that. I could easily go for that one.
Do whatever you think she would do, DM, and take as much time as you need.
You are not easily puntable. And you still have much to learn about the world.
That is one thing we can agree on. So, Gnome. For a moment, ask her for the name, and then just decides against it. What was your goal in this? You knew your armor's capabilities. You knew your magic. You wanted to test me. Was that it? But you kept talking about putting me in my place.
Do you still intend to attack me? Do you still intend to look down on me? About gnomes,
Well,
about women?
I don't think I can help but look down on you physically, but as for... Why should it matter? Why should it matter what I think about you or say about you?
Not just me.
We have permission
but
to
of
fight here.
Not just of me, but of an entire gender, an entire race, an entire people, an entire class. If you look down on groups of people and dismiss them, you're never going to achieve the heights that you want. You need to learn from even the smallest people, the common people, even the dimmest orc. And that does strike a memory of what RuneScar did directly tell you, is that you can learn much from even the dimmest orc. Like, RuneScar did tell you that the first time around.
A repeating mantra, I see. Maybe. Look. Those aren't incorrect statements. But I simply do not have the time to deal with every single person and individual I come across in any capacity. I have to pick and choose. You wouldn't actually make horseshoes, would you? Nails? Things that someone of lower skill could do?
I have made horseshoes and nails before, and you'd be surprised at how you can apply knowledge, even the most simple knowledge, into much more complicated and fantastical works. Do not look down
But every
on
door-
every single one of them.
But every door that opens means another has closed. Your time investing in the simple things also means that you have missed out on things that are not as simple or of a different flavor, of completely different simplicity.
In a similar vein, not even glancing at the door in the first place to see what it has to offer, that means that you will be missing out on a lot of opportunities as well.
Life is about choosing what you lose, not about what you gain.
Not about what you gain. It's like, that's a very pessimistic outlook. I wonder, she probably would say that. Let me think. That's a pessimistic outlook. That's a very pessimistic outlook on life. Yes,
So,
we are losing
you
opportunities. Yes, we are losing opportunities at every single moment, even when we quarrel, even when we argue. But life is a culmination of all of your experiences. Whether they were worth it or not, you can learn from everything. Your mistakes, your triumphs, and other people's accomplishments, both small and big. You don't need to focus on the big pictures, on the big accomplishments. If you focus too much on the big picture, you're going to lose sight of all the little details that lead to if you focus too much on the big picture, how do I want to say it? It's like I want to convey the idea that it's like a book writer. If you wanted to write a hero's journey, you take all of the tropes, but you don't do your own thing. Like, you just play with, like, this hero must find a magic item, this hero must do this, and the whole story
Go through the
plays
motions.
out. Go through the whole motions, essentially. Like, I basically want to convey that idea. She's going to say, like, if you focus too much on the big picture, how do I want to put it? To put that to
You don't
more
see the
fo-
trees of the forest.
You can't
Yeah, it's
kill 100% of the people you don't try to kill. Ooh, that was tasty.
both. It's a very pessimistic outlook. Focus too much on the big picture and you will lose sight. You'll lose sight.
See the forest for the trees, or vice versa.
Then you won't see the forest for the trees, I suppose. Yeah. Just to boil down an analogy, because I don't. It's too big brain for me to to wrap the two metaphors together.
I'll assume we exchange a little bit of philosophical quotes back and forth in this battle of wit.
Yeah.
Pyre frowns and he says, "It seems that I've gotten away from myself. Your goal was simply to show that I could learn something from you. You threw me across the room. I understand that. And as a sign of patience, I will allow you to answer a question of mine that I will listen to."
She laughed. She laughs at that. I see you still haven't lost it.
Why, of all people, of all places, did Runescar choose you?
She crosses her arms. It's like she crosses her arms, like she looks at you, and it's very obvious that you're not going to get an answer. And it's probably and Runescar does speak up and say, "Fire." The thing that she has been trying to say this whole time is that you should not look down on others and should at least give them a chance. The entire way you framed that you are lowering yourself down to her level. If you want to continue learning from me and keep your features, then you need to understand that your background, your noble lineage, your demigod status, it does not matter. Not here. As an artificer, you must be willing to learn from anyone, even the smallest person.
And he holds up a finger, not even a finger, a whole palm towards Runescar. Turns back to her. My language skills are not good for this area. It is foreign to me. I'm not used to playing nice. What I was trying to say is, my question for you is not simply justifying your experience or existence. It was to give you a chance that I would listen. If you wanted to change who I was, that is something that interests me on why you are in the same position I'm in. Not the exact same, but in apprenticeship. I was willing to listen not to the justification Runescar has, but to your reasonings, your logic, your viewpoint, because anything you say in that regards will also reflect towards me in my position. I'm willing to accept that I am wrong in my perspectives based on your answer. That is not an opportunity anyone gives anyone else without thought. And I have decided that you're worthy of a chance with that.
Okay.
Now, if this isn't something you wanted, you can back out. Or if you'd like to answer it later, I can deal with that. But the offer remains that in all the wisdom of the ancients we've thrown at each other, that personal question is one I will think about and put into my life and my viewpoint and my thoughts.
Okay. All right. And as the DM, the question was basically, why did RuneScar accept you, or was it more nuanced than that?
Basically, why did RuneScholar take you on as an apprentice when he could have had anyone anywhere? Why you?
Oh. Would she be willing to talk about that? That's a good question. Make a persuasion roll.
Alright, what am I trying to persuade her? That I'll listen, or my sincerity,
Persuade.
or just...
I suppose the sincerity, see if she is willing to tell you, because there is a possibility that this is not a question she's willing to answer at the moment, so I want the persuasion roll to see if she's going to say it now, or if she's going to leave that question for later.
Okay. RuneScar is not used to gnomish expression. Pyre! I am playing Pyre. Pyre is not used to gnomish expressions, but he will do his best to convey his sincerity.
Okay.
That is a 12.
She crosses her arm, she looks you up and down, she thinks it over for a little bit, and she says, I'll answer that question in just a moment. When you walked in here, the way you carried yourself, the things you said, I do apologize. Things may have got escalated out of hand there. But you reminded me of him. Of Zygon. Do you want to know why RuneScar took me in? He took me in because he saw great potential. Great potential that Zygon was quick to discard. Great potential that Zygon does not wish to see due to his limited vision. Let's just say that you looked a lot like your father there. And I got a bit emotional.
I didn't feel your actions needed to be justified. But yes, take your time. Oh, no, you did answer my question. So it wasn't about who I was. It was about the trauma that my father had left behind. And my questioning of your worth was a direct questioning of your value in a god's eye.
I suppose it goes beyond that, but we'll go with that for now.
Fair. So... And he looks over to the side, opens his mouth, thinks better of it, looks back at her. I'm going to say something offensive. It is not directed at you. I don't know how to say it otherwise. How does she react when he says that?
Are you saying the swear word? The C word?
No, actually, no.
What did you say? You can type it in
He
DM
hasn't
to
said
tell us
anything
it,
yet.
right?
He is looking at her and telling her that he's about to say something extremely offensive, but he's not meaning to offend her. He waits
see.
for her response.
He says, "Oh, we'll see. Well, we'll see. You're a big guy. I'm sure you can survive another punch."
Nods, looks back at Runescar. So you pulled this apprentice from Zygon's scraps to show that you could make something better out of something he had rejected.
How do I want to put it?
Well, probably the first thing is, does he get punched?
Runescar. Let's see. Runescar. You say that to Runescar, and like he looks at you, and then he just starts laughing. Even when you were almost laid out, you still hold that arrogant attitude, huh? I suppose if you want to put it that way and continue looking down on both me and her, then yes. He discarded a diamond because he was looking for the copper pieces in his pile. Yes. He was looking for things that were agreeable to him.
I did just say that you were trying to prove yourself better than a god. I don't
It has nothing
understand
to
how
do
that's...
with proving myself better with a god.
Then what? Then why? I understand your personal reasons with me. It's not simply because I'm a offspring, because of my position, but her... She doesn't have a history I'm aware of. She doesn't have a family, she doesn't have resources. She has talent, but talent is cheap. It's hard work and skill, and she, if her words are true, and this is something you would consider a masterpiece, forged with the aid of manuscripts from the gods, then yes, I understand those things, but why? What's your goal with her? Nothing's for free, nothing's cheap. It can't be entertainment.
Why do teachers teach their students, even if they're not related by blood? Because they want to see their students prosper. It's not for any reason of getting back into Zygon. And don't mistake all of her effort as talent. She worked hard to get to that position that she is in right now.
If it was just talent, she wouldn't be here. Talent burns out.
Let's see. Where was I going to continue from there?
So basically, Pyre's agreeing with him.
Hold on, I lost my train of thought because I think there was something else I wanted to add in to to the other statement before that statement of don't discount her hard work. With proper guidance, even the simplest man can make something of themselves. That is what I honestly believe. And don't mistake
You
me
have
for
your-
any old charity worker. It's... I don't want to say pity, but there is... You can... If you had a thought, you can continue that. In case it might.
I saw you throw a thief into a crowd of possible riffraff that you could have easily gotten on board.
It's
You didn't choose them, you chose her. Riffraff. Riffraff. Oh no!
without the T. Sorry, that's
Junk!
a pet peeve
Garbage!
of mine.
Common garbage outside. Lollygagging garbage outside of your wagon, yet you only chose one. The diamond. Was she a diamond through her hard work before you found her? Or did you polish her after into it? And he looks to her. This is not discounting your efforts.
Let's see. Would he answer that? Would he actually answer that, or would he say that?
He doesn't
that's
have
up
to, Jorah.
That's up to her to tell you herself about her history, about her past. And he says, "And what does it matter to you? I have had many apprentices across the years. She is just but one of many. Some were diamonds some showed no potential before being polished into a diamond, and others were diamond that were improved."
I guess I just don't understand. Our discussion beforehand, and he side-eyes her, made it clear that you wanted something from me. Something that benefited both of us to a degree, but something that was intimately important to you. I had assumed that that is what you expected in exchange. But I still don't comprehend why a dragon would enjoy prosperity rather than bury someone in debt and use them as a source of income. Or power, or influence. I guess I don't know what it means to be a dragon.
I have turned my back on this world for a very, very long time. With the exception of the demonic incursions, the roles of the gods, the roles of the mortals are beyond my concern. But you two are the smartest minds that I've known so far in this era. If both of you could get past your issues and your trauma, then you two could become something greater. But of course, all that relies on you two. I'm not forcing you to make up or get along. It's certainly a hope, and it may never happen. Possibly never will.
Looks at her, What does her expression say at his words? I could do
This
a sense
guy?
motive.
Like, it's like,
No,
this guy?
this guy. Yeah, yeah. Pyre kind of does the same thing. Looks back at Runescar. I think we would die before that happened. Probably me at this point, but yes.
I can't believe I'm agreeing with him, but yeah.
So, besides being an artificer, I know that's what you're known for. And besides playing nice with others, what did you hope to teach me?
Is this directed at Runescar or directed at...
Runescar.
No. Let's see, let's see. And out of character, are you just talking about in general or talking about specifically with her?
He has just said, besides her and besides
Besides her.
artificery,
Okay.
what did you want to teach me? I can't even say my class name.
It's not a fish, Bones.
Artificer.
Artificer!
Artificer.
Too long I've endured this. Too long!
You needed to fix it before it began. Anyway, go ahead, Jorah.
It's not pronounced that way. Give me the link. Show me it being pronounced artificer. No, enough derailing. Gosh, I'm going to keep going on and on about the same single point.
Okay. Pyre will wave a claw and he'll say, "We've talked too long, and time is short for me. If this secondary goal of yours is to be attempted, you will no longer be able to teach me." And he will look at the gnome and he'll say, "You will have to pass on what Runescar has taught you." He can intercede, but if we are to interact, it will have to be at a professional level.
And it's like, and she crosses her arms, looks at you. Yeah, and that sounds fine by me. I wasn't looking to become your friend anyways. We are merely business acquaintances.
If we were friends, we would both be foolish and stupid. And thus begins a wonderful friendship, DM.
I'm still thinking about that point of what were you hoping to teach me? What are you hoping to teach me? I want to say
It's like literally like Runescar out of character. Runescar has said he wants him to investigate his missing mother in Zygon's domain, specifically the dungeons. He has stated that he's interested in Pyre as his grandson, not Zygon's grandson. But then he has also stated that blood is inconsequential. It does not matter in this situation. So obviously Runescar is yanking on Pyre's chain and lying on one front or another. So I don't expect to get Alan's answers at this point. I think that'd be kind of silly, Jorah. But I am looking forward to when those little motivations come out.
like the simple motivation. I'm not sure if he would even want to say it. He'd probably just repeat some of the same goals as before, like you said, because I do know, like, the biggest thing that's guiding his actions.
Yeah, and you don't have to share it, TM. I'm
Yep.
not pressuring you.
Um,
Pyre is pressuring you, not imposter.
like, all of it is good questions of would he say it, would they say it, And I don't think he would.
Yeah, that's fine. But Pyre questioning it, it's a step.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for lack of better terms, Pyre is going to pester this little gnome to death with questions. She wanted to be a teacher, she gets to be a teacher.
Well, I'm not your teacher, I am your acquaintance. Perhaps I should remind you of that. Runescar is your teacher, and we are co-workers in a sense. I may be your senior, but that doesn't mean that I take the responsibility of teaching you everything.
Not everything, but for now, you wanted to show me that I don't know anything. That I could learn from anyone, especially a gnomish woman who's been rejected. Then this is your chance. You've answered one of my questions. I felt like it was honest.
And
Maybe I have more.
She looks back at you and she says, "You're doing it again." It's pretty much, you're like, you're doing it again. You're pretty much saying that I am now worthy to talk to you. That circumstances have changed. You really
Have they
need to
not?
work. You really need to work on sounding less arrogant.
Would you prefer if I lied to you?
No, I would not prefer that you lied to me. I would prefer that you watch exactly how your words are coming across to other people. Not necessarily lie. Just have tact. Even diplomats who hate each other can do so with a smile on their face.
Of all things I've aspired to, diplomacy is not one of them.
You should give it a chance. It might help you get more in tune with the crystal of visage in your armor. But enough of that. Let's go over the basics of the armor. And do you want to go over the technical details? Because I do have the technical details of how she would start guiding you.
We've talked for a bit. We can definitely roleplay it afterwards if necessary. I think it's time to move on to someone else.
I mean, we're already half an hour past the session.
Oh
so
yeah, we're
this is pretty much the
overtime.
end.
We're half-hour
Okay.
overtime.
The
This is
what I
the
mind.
gnomes
This was a good
punting.
one.
I think I'm good for tonight. I've had a lot.
Oh yes, we did have a lot. Let's see how this relationship develops.
Like out of character DM, Pyre has gone to assuming that she is a slave or a whore, to assuming that he has something to learn from her and that she is indeed worth talking to. She may not see that as progress, but to Pyre, that's huge progress.
Oh yes, and
No, he still doesn't know her name.
Nope. Nor, like, she's never gonna give it to you unless you lower yourself down and say, and politely ask her. She's never
It's gonna be
give
so
it to you.
long. I'm saving that. I'm saving that DM for when it's important. Don't want to do the smile through my teeth, tell her F you, and then ask for her name. I want it to actually matter.
Oh
if
yeah.
it ever goes there.
Oh, it's great. It's it is great. That's the end of
7 HP.